Look, we can look all important and professional.
Do you know what city? That's not a big deal. Just Arkansas, but I can maybe.
Fighting out of Arkansas.
I know Jamie will have it, and I can also look it up.
Tell him you're the brown shirt on the right.
We are broadcasting.
We're live. Perfect.
Hello and welcome to DFC 9.
That's right. Here with my other co-host, Chase Henry at DFC 9 at the West Monroe Sports and Events Center. We got grappling, kickboxing, amateur MMA, and pro fights tonight. We're going to kick it off tonight with some grappling, and just as he said, we're going to start off with Jessica Guidry coming in on a grappling match.
Yeah, Jessica Guidry versus Francesca Keene. This is both of these ladies' first super fight tonight. First time in front of a big crowd in the cage. It should be interesting to see how it plays out.
That's right. See how they play out under the nights tonight? So for everyone, these are grappling matches we're going to start with. These are 1 8-minute round, ends with either a sub or a tie.
Yeah, that's right. Submission only way to win this one, so no points. Takedowns don't matter other than using that to be able to set up your submission. So you might see one of these ladies, if they're having trouble with the takedown, maybe pull guard so they can attack from off their back, depending on their styles. But yeah, submission is the only way. And we're gonna start with grappling matches. We'll get into a couple kickboxing matches, and then it'll be followed up with first amateur and then professional MMA.
Now with an 8-minute round, Chase, managing your gas tank seems to be a pretty important consideration, right? Because it's either you lay it all out in that round, there is no second round. You have to figure out where to pick your spots at, right?
Absolutely. And you want to make sure you don't leave anything in the tank. You don't want to lose the match and then, say I could have done more. So you really want to push yourself out there, but also at the same time, if you're not finding your spots, then you gotta make sure you don't blow your load either.
All right. So with that, as Jessica Guidry finds herself out, next we go into Francesca's Keene. That's right.
Francesca, the local girl here from West Monroe, fighting in front of her home crowd. Like we said, this is her first time having a grappling super fight, and it's very cool for her to be able to do that in her hometown with a lot of support here for her.
So as you go through an 8-minute round and in a no-gi grappling match like this, pretty much all submissions on the table. There's no real outbooked thing. We don't have any young adult visions or anything like that. Everything here is the pro in treating it with the rule set. So do you find your spots and pick? Do you come out of the gate? Do you find a tactical line of attack and just keep going at it? What would you say would be kind of the way to approach something like this?
Yeah, so you want to have your game plan that you thought about coming in here, and you really need to find your spots. Find what you're good at and make sure you take the fight there into your game. You don't want to get stuck playing your opponent's game. And yeah, you like I said before, you really just got to make sure you don't leave anything in the tank. Don't let yourself get behind and get caught up. You really got to push yourself and use the cage to your advantage. Push your opponent into the cage, kind of slam them into the floor if you can. All right, first bout of the night, Francesca Keene versus Jessica Guidry.
Both in their debut, both looking to make a name for themselves here at the West Monroe Sports and Events Center for DFC 9. Immediately both going into the clinch, trying to find some sort of interaction here in the ring.
I like that we're seeing them fight for grips, looking for takedowns. A lot of times in grappling matches, you see people pull guard, and I think a lot of people, in the crowd here for MMA may not understand that, so I do like to see that they're looking for the takedowns out of the gate.
Again, neither one quite working to the cage yet. Both a lot of grips. Trying to slip an underhook.
Yeah. Franny had a nice look at an overhook there, attacking some control, didn't quite get away with it. But I like that point that you made. No one is using the cage yet. It might behoove them to kind of back their opponent, kind of put them in place against the cage and use that to help set up the takedown.
That's right. Oh, nice little inside leg trip attempt.
That was good.
And again, with an 8-minute round, there's no reason to rush out the gate, but you do want to find out your opponent's reactions. You do want to see what they're going to do and how to modify your game plan that you've been working on.
Right. I do think it's interesting. We haven't seen any wrestling-style takedowns yet. No hands grabbing the legs. It's been all upper body grip so far. And you see, both of them, whenever one of them has the grip, the person defending is pulling their arm out. Whenever they're pulling their arm out, their legs get heavy. That's a good time to follow up with a leg grab and hit them with a single leg.
All right, both continuing to push, trying to find some sort of reaction out of their opponent to work with. And
almost had her over there.
Slowly trying to work her to the cage. She circles out. And there we go. First contact with the cage.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on her here. And now going for the legs, but Franny for the neck and the mount in the half guard.
Found a way to counter out. Got top half guard, but real close to the cage. Her opponent's going to be shrimping out away from the cage. Typically, you want it the other way around where their back is against the cage so they can't really escape you. Moving it into a modified knee shield now. Franny trying to find a way to peel the leg off while not losing pressure.
I like the way she was V-ripping that leg, but she lost it. Full guard now for Jessica Guidry. So this is a spot where Guidry on bottom is able to really attack Franny and set up submissions. The fact that her legs are wrapped around the body here, she can potentially get those up around her shoulders, her neck, and find chokes, arm blocks from there. Franny, her main thing to do from here is to get out of the guard. The guard is open now.
Guard is open. Guidry searching for a guillotine.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite like it's there. I think there's too much space between Guidry's shoulder and the back of Franny's head. It's hard to see from here. She's definitely holding onto the head. And it could get tight from here.
Could get tight or move it over to the mount. Not quite.
Yeah, Guidry wants to get more on her left hip from here, which she's doing, but Franny does a good job framing off that face and making some space.
And popping back up into posture. Very good job moving the posture, keeping her opponent framed out, going to the hip bump sweep, which actually opens it and allows a back take.
Great transition. These are blue belts, and they're both fighting very well right now, both having good offensive maneuvers. Nice transition there from Franny to take the back off that sweep attempt.
And Franny trying to move into a rear naked, has one arm secured around, trying to find the timing and space. It looks like she might have a little bit of a grip here.
Yeah, she's definitely hunting for it, and this is a spot where, especially in a match like this, in training you don't really do it. This is part of the match where you can go across their face, really squeeze on their teeth, their jaw, really kind of hurt them to get the choke in or make them tap from the pain.
Also, you can sink it in and also just try to cook your opponent and wear them out in these kind of positions.
Yeah, she's looking to smother here a little bit. It's not quite there. She could still get the tap from here, but Guidry does manage to separate the arm from around her neck and around her chin.
Guidry has to be careful with her energy management here, trying to, as an old school tripod escape.
Yeah, Guidry doing a good job. She's in a spot here where she can potentially clear. I believe she's cleared the right hook now. She can potentially keep moving.
She can use the wall, right, to go ahead and peel the opponent off.
Yeah, use to kind of scrape Franny off the back now. So the way she turned, the way she went back fully to turtle, down on both knees, it allowed Franny to get that second hook back in. So now she's going to be more stable on the top of that back control. Guidry was in a spot where if she would have been willing to go to her back and put her shoulder blades on the mat, she could have turned and faced her opponent from there and had another look at playing the guard.
All right, a little over the halfway mark here inside of this 8-minute round.
Yeah, Franny's still in prime position. She just did exactly what I'm talking about on bottom. Jessica Guidry, go into her back.
Move into the bottom half. Yes.
Yeah, in the half guard now. Using the cage, try to push off, make a little bit of space. Franny, the fact that Franny has both of her shoulder blades pinned to the mat, this is going to make it hard for Guidry to move off the bottom. Going to be kind of stuck there for the moment.
Trying to get a head and arm control so that she can essentially peel out. Usually when you get that head and arm control, you can then start to hook in. But Guidry using a good job actually using the cage to frame up and trying to go back to full guard. Didn't quite catch it before Miss Keene was able to pop to the other side.
Yeah, she's really close to getting that full pass now. Guidry doing a good job keeping that knee inside of Franny's hip there. Franny stepping over to the mount, though. Nice long step over the top there.
Has the elbows in a pretty decent position, is trying to get them a little higher. The further the arms get away from the body on the mount, the more dangerous the position. Yeah,
the thing about the cage where they're at is Franny can help use it for stabilization to help kind of keep the position, but I think it may make it harder for her to find a submission here, especially if she looks up for an armbar or anything. The cage could get in her way in trying to make that transition. Right, she could attack the left arm of Guidry here, as you see extended around her body. This is a spot where I think Franny could kind of put her right foot on the mat behind Guidry's shoulder blade, kind of really pinch that arm in, using her knee and attack it, but Guidry is now retracting that arm back for protection.
There was a moment there Guidry was trying to use the cage to tripod up. Looks like she might be trying it again, trying to do the old backdoor escape, but it works even better when you can get a foot in, push off the cage.
Yeah, smothering pressure here from Franny. We only have 40 seconds left. Unless she's going to get a smother choke, she needs to go for something it's a minute 40 left. But she is getting low on time. And as we mentioned before, this is submission only, so if she wants to find the victory here instead of just a draw, she needs to get busy with attacks.
That's right. In a traditional jiu-jitsu competition, she would be walking away pretty much the victor here. You would just maintain this kind of position. However, in this format, it's win or lose. You have to get a sub. So sometimes around this point, you start taking risk, right?
Yeah. There's not much risk at this point. I mean, it could happen, but if she loses a position going for submission, there's not a ton of risk for her to get counterattacked because there's so little time left. Franny, I would like to see, really go for that arm there, but Guidry able to get back up to her feet. Will she fire back now?
Guidry a little wobbly, might be a little tired there.
Yeah, for sure. This has been a long match, grueling match, been in some tough positions. Definitely, Franny should have the energy more in the tank still. Just the fact that she was wearing on Guidry from the top position for so long.
30 seconds remaining. There's a guard pull. There's a little bit of the risk taking because she pulls her down into top half.
Yeah, and I think guard is a little more of Franny's game where she finds offense from. So, but again, only 20 seconds left. She had a quick look at a wrist lock, didn't quite have it. Looking for
her
a toe hold.
Her opponent going for a toe hold.
Has a good bend on it, but she's not she needs to get her elbow kind of closer to Franny's heel to create enough torque on there, and that's going to be time. And this one is going to end in a draw.
Both showing great heart, both showing great tenacity till the very end. All right. In general, a real great match from that. We'll say one thing with this format, it has to end in either draw or submission.
Yeah, both of them can be happy with their performance, but wanted that win. And the unfortunate thing about draws too is the crowd, just it doesn't do a lot for anybody. So definitely want to go out there and really hunt for those submissions a little more. Those were our least experienced matchups of the night. As we progress through the grappling, we're going to have more veterans of the game. So expect to see more attacks. These next three should be very busy, I would expect, with a lot of attacking.
That's right. We have 3 more inside of the grappling. We'll have 2 kickboxing. All right, next up, Donald Wilkinson coming out of Fight School MMA in Livingston, Louisiana.
Yeah, so same school as Jessica Guidry here for Donald Wilkinson. I'm having trouble with it too. Donald Wilkinson is a veteran of MMA. He's had 7 MMA fights, had a very tough schedule. Every fight also has ended in a finish, whether win or lose for him. So, expect a lot of risk taking. That's what that tells me, is he's willing to go out there and put on the line, take those risks, and either find the finish or get finished himself.
Absolutely. Right. I believe he has a little bit of reputation as being a lower body attacker, something that could be great in this kind of format.
Yeah, he's good at footlocks. A lot of times, whenever he'll get into a 50-50 position, kind of crisscross with your opponent's legs, and it's a more modern attack to attack the free foot instead of the one you have wrapped up with your own legs. He's very good at attacking that free foot from the 50-50 position. It's a spot I would expect to see him try out tonight, see if he can land that. And Grant Scurria, his opponent, fighting out of West Monroe.
Yeah, that's right. Con Gracie Jiu-Jitsu out of West Monroe. Both of these gentlemen weighing in at 195 for this fight. Now, Grant, a little more traditional wrestling base growing up. And you should see that in the style difference. You probably will see Grant try to fight for the top position whereas Wilkinson may not necessarily fight for that quite as often.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Wilkinson ended up pulling guard here. Grant, very well respected, well earned high school wrestling career. Something along the lines of 125-4 as far as high school wrestling. So expect to see him looking for the takedowns.
He ain't no 5'10". And again, just a reminder to everybody, this will be an 8-minute, 1-round, submission-only match. All right, both gentlemen meeting in the middle. Grant immediately trying to find wrist and just like you said, Chase, pulling guard the moment he feels any sort of threat.
Yeah, so Grant shot had a good collar tie, nice deep underhook, was definitely going to get that takedown off of that position he had, but his opponent very smartly put himself on the ground so that he was able to kind of find an offensive position instead of being put on his back in a spot where Grant was past his legs.
Grant trying
strong post on the face.
Post on the face. You want to do things like that probably kind of early.
Kind of letting your opponent know, this it's going to be like that. Kind of really not being nice to him there.
Well, especially in no-gi where you want to find a way to posture up to pass, and really you don't have any sort of cloth that you can base yourself off on when you do with gi.
Yeah, and you want to put your weight over them anyway to be able to stand up from here and then open up the legs, and it's something that's it's something it gets warned here from the referee about posting on the throat there, which is you want. On the face is okay, but not on the throat.
Wilkinson, for a second there, going to a star sweep, posting in.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for Wilkinson. It's going to make him, think more about playing from guard here.
Grant reached back, found the leg pop. Yeah, now is passed to top side control with his opponent against the cage, moving a little more toward north-south, not completely posted up there yet.
Yeah, and Grant has extremely heavy top pressure. Come into that wrestling base. And both these guys purple belts in jiu-jitsu, but Grant has that strong wrestling background, and I've been under him before training, and he is a handful on top.
Absolutely. Grant has one arm isolated on the near side. You can't quite see it from this camera angle. I can see it from the cage side, so watch the far side arm. Grant does have an underhook on it as he continues to slightly cook his opponent from topside pressure.
Yeah, he loses it now, but that's something he could have maybe lifted up to attack an armbar on the arm near to Grant. From here, Donald Wilkinson able to get both kind of elbows back inside position, and he has it almost looked like he was going for a buggy choke for a second, but he looks to just trap the arm, going for an inverted triangle
crucifix,
here.
Yep. He now has secured a leg.
Grant very good at kind of really using this as a passing position. Splitting the legs from the backside, kind of a reverse half guard almost. But, yeah, it's really more of a good passing position for Grant to kind of repass that guard.
Grant back. This time
little gift wrap from the back.
Little gift wrap. You have to be careful there. You can take your opponent's back, so Wilkinson will have to basically choose a little bit of poison which way to go as Grant tries to isolate a Kimura. Grant being very heavy with the pressure. You can see it, knees forward, hips heavy, putting it across the opponent, and he gets the tap from the
taps
Kimura.
Him. That was a beautiful, heavy pressure. The way he was heavy, using his shin to pin his opponent's other arm so he couldn't use it to defend, rips it around. Donald Wilkinson has no choice but to tap. Beautiful finish from Grant Scurria.
That's right. Very consistent, very constant pressure. Eventually his opponent making a small error in the hand separation, and Grant able to capitalize on it. Why can't he put the hand on the throat? That's not what in the rules. Yeah. That was not in the fucking rules. You can do it.
Okay. Sorry.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know.
This ain't your buddy's gym.
You're
All right, Grant taking the first finish of the night.
Yeah, really dominant, beautiful performance from him. Really controlled from start to finish.
Absolutely. We will have 2 more rounds of grappling going into this format before we move into kickboxing and then amateur fights tonight here. Again, thank you for joining us at DFC 9 here at West Monroe, Louisiana. We are live on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Show them these fights. Show them these formats. And welcome to the show. All right, Drew Arbour, another Fight School MMA out of Livingston, Louisiana. I believe these fights are at, was this 170, Chase?
Yeah, 170 on the weight class for this one. They typically have a little more leeway, which both of them made 170, but you typically see a little more discrepancy in weight in grappling matches. People don't care quite as much about it as they do in MMA. So, 5-pound difference between these guys, not too much that it's going to affect anything. And I believe this is another blue belt matchup. So, yeah, blue belt matchup here. Last match with Grant Scurria and Donald Wilkinson was a purple belt matchup. So, a little less experience on these guys, but I do expect them both to come out here and go for the kill. I do think very similar to last matchup, I do think Drew Arbour, a little more of a jiu-jitsu player, whereas Joey Lopez, his opponent, a little more of a wrestler. So, expect to see, more of that hand fight and more of that looking for the takedown. Arbour, wouldn't be surprised to see him potentially pull guard in this fight. Excuse me.
Joey Lopez coming out of Triad here in Ruston, Louisiana, just 30 minutes down the road, essentially another local fighter. And as you said, a lot of good wrestling fundamentals, right? Also is going to a hybrid jiu-jitsu judo school. So expect a lot of stand-up, tying up, trying to find a dominant position into the fight.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about his wrestling experience, but he certainly wrestled in school, and I know that because I've watched some of his matches where he's competed, and you could tell he has great hand fighting, great feints, great wrestling fundamentals. It's something it's hard to learn as an adult. You can tell he kind of grew up wrestling, and you'll see what I'm talking about in here in just a moment. Yeah, fighting out of Triad. We have a lot of Triad guys on the card tonight, as usual. I believe that his corner may have greased his face, kind of like you would do for an MMA fight, just to make sure the strikes are landing clean. You don't want kind of grazing strikes to catch and rip the skin too easily. But in a pure grappling match, that's going to just allow the hands to slide off. You can't be greased up in a grappling match. So a little bit of confusion between the I don't know if it's the boxing commissioner or his corners. Accidentally greasing these guys that aren't going to be throwing strikes.
That's all right. Chris the Crippler coming to fix it up.
Yeah, real consummate professional. Christopher the Crippler Hill. Make sure we get taken care of on that front.
Yeah, I'm almost 1,000% sure that double hand on the throat is perfectly legal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because even in Abu Dhabi.
I don't know that guy. That was.
Yeah. Because I know when someone tries to, if you're on mount, some guys will do the double arm scoop to the one leg. I'll do that shit. Because it's like, no, you can't take away both your arms.
Right.
All right, our referee for the fight on this one, Chris Hill. Both gentlemen meeting in the center of the ring.
Yeah, Joey Lopez here in the black shorts. His opponent, Drew Arbour, in the camo shorts.
Arbour with the tie clinch. Joey trying to manage some distance with a chest press.
Nice
Moving over to slide by, trying to get a Russian tie, looks like, a 2-on-1. Oh,
and beautiful shot to the far side, back to the near side.
Already showing a lot of energy. Got his opponent to the cage and did a scoop and down.
Yeah, can't coach that. You can, but he's been wrestling a long time. And I think that's obvious in just the way he came out there and attacked from the stand-up.
Looks like we got a half butterfly guard with the butterfly guard being on the cage, so he's trying to push away so that he'll have an ability to lift.
Yeah, Lopez staying heavy on the hips here, and this is one thing I would say is maybe a negative from him, is he seems mostly about the control and less about having the ability to finish with submissions and really kind of play the jiu-jitsu game of passing the guard. But I do expect the fact that he's on top right now, I expect him to have a good ability to keep that top position. I just don't know. I have some questions about his finishing ability from the top.
And Arbour actually diving in. So this is one thing you'll see in jiu-jitsu. When you're not really quite worried about the strike, sometimes you'll just dive into that far leg from the bottom half guard position to try to fish in and start a leg lock sequence and lift the opponent up.
Yeah.
Arbour does have a forearm isolated. Lopez does have the grip on it. So he'll have to be careful there as he shrimps out and both let go. Okay.
Yeah, so good underhook now here for Drew Arbour. He's looking for the wrestle up as Lopez looks to pass.
Lopez looking to just switch to the other side, got back in half guard. Arbour doing a decent job maintaining a group. Doesn't seem to be too interested in going back to full guard. I think he is wanting to play the bottom half in a scenario like this.
Yeah, it's going to be tough against someone like Lopez. And look, this is something I'll probably mention a lot. Look how he's keeping both of his opponent's shoulder blades on the mat. That is so important in pinning them and keeping them immobile so that they can't really sweep you. They can't really find attacks, submissions. That's what really keeps them stuck in place. And the fact that he's staying in the top half guard as well, his legs are trapped. He can't use them to try to really wrestle up. He's kind of stuck in this position from here. It's going to be more on Lopez to look to pass if he wants to. But
and is that an arm triangle attempt?
Yeah, he is looking for that arm triangle on the far side.
He'll have to clear the leg in order to get that, though, with the far side away. And he is starting to tripod up, hoping to apply some pressure. You can get it from there, but it is very, very difficult. And Arbour looking to be the longer man, you usually can't quite do it whenever you're the shorter of the two.
Yeah, and you see on the camera here now, look how, even though he kind of has the mount, he's keeping that little shin pin, kind of limiting his opponent's movement.
Yep, Arbour trying to call in on the telephone there.
Yeah, this is a potential look at a finish here. And that's the tap. Finds that arm triangle. Sets it up from the top half guard, one of the best places to set it up from, and proceeds to the mount, to the side control, to the finish. Textbook execution there from Lopez, and answered my questions about his submission ability. Thank you so much.
All right, so a great finish there. Moving on to the arm triangle as he passed through.
And only one more grappling.
That's right.
Only one more grappling match remaining. And this is going to be a brown belt matchup. I'm super excited about this one. This is essentially our main event for the grappling portion of the card. And, yeah, this was one you do not want to miss. Sorry, I couldn't tell.
Okay. Hard to tell with him.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if we were. What? That? Okay.
All right, Dalton Acklin coming out of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Dalton as you'll see on the teletape here shortly, is going to be giving up a lot of weight in this matchup. This is going to be the most significant weight difference of the night. Dalton weighing in at 157 pounds. That's something he's used to, though. Competes so much, a lot of absolute divisions, and his main thing is he just wants to put on a good show. So expect to see a lot of offense, risk-taking from Dalton Acklin.
Absolutely. And for those who don't quite know absolute, so in jiu-jitsu there is the no-weight division, which is where you can be any weight whatsoever, and Acklin is known to compete at that.
Welcome to the arena, Steven Tuggle.
And Steven Tuggle, his opponent, huge local favorite here in West Monroe. Steven lived here for a few years and back in Arlington, Texas, back in his home, training over there with former world champion Rafael Formiga. Great team over there. Great collegiate wrestling experience for Steven, and has been training jiu-jitsu several years now. Very quick to get his brown belt, and that's right, this is a brown belt matchup, highest level matchup we've had here at Delta so far.
All right, Steven Tuggle probably going to try to wrestle into a dominant position. Dalton, though, being a leg locker, probably will pull guard, probably will show a lot of hip back, as you see right there in the initial positions, especially being the lighter fighter.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dalton looking for the wrestling here. I just don't know that he's going to win this positioning off Steven. Steven has that great wrestling experience. But, yeah, Dalton, he's as game as they come. He's definitely going to be, looking to challenge that wrestling of Steven Tuggle.
All right, both gentlemen looking for a good position. Tuggle a little more active with the clinch, but Dalton's fishing for the guillotine there.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be his best bet on the stand-up is, looking kind of to really attack off the stand-up. When it comes to just, getting to the takedown, Dalton's probably not going to win that.
All right, Steven getting a single leg takedown, putting him in the corner, is now in a butterfly position, but standing up into it, trying to get a drag back. And as we see, Acklin going into a leg lasso, trying to go into a heel hook.
Yeah, and he's got a good look at this. Steven looking to clear the knee line. Steven does have great base and balance. He does clear the knee line here, so he should be fairly safe at this point. Going to look to maybe try to take the back or, just use that kind of leg-splitting guard passing position.
All right, and now has passed, but he has not passed the knee, so he is not into a mount. Expect Dalton to, again, continue to fish for the leg, which is why Steven will probably use that cross face to keep his opponent from diving under the legs.
Yeah, Steven getting really good looks, getting really close to passing here, and just with his wrestling experience, with his size advantage, this is going to be a difficult spot for Dalton to kind of deal with. Going to look to use the cage here, try to see if it can help him get off the bottom.
Tuggle continuing to be relatively heavy in the top side control position, trying to isolate, using the crossface on one side and hip pressure on the other. Dalton trying to double up and fish the arm around so that he could absolutely do that again, bring the knee shield back in. You need some sort of pressure relief, and that's how he found full guard.
Yeah, good job there from Dalton getting back to that full guard position. And, yeah, Steven really pressing him up into the cage there. Steven right back past the guard here. Something that could be interesting about this is, remember this is submission only way you can win. So Dalton, if he could try to play a safety game and force Steven to overcommit, because it's going to be hard for him to really fight his way out of this position. But, kind of being a little conservative on the bottom could force Steven into overcommitting for submission and help Dalton find his way out from the bottom. And he finds the tap. Wow. Beautiful setup.
Guillotine.
Yeah, that was a beautiful setup from Steven Tuggle. He's pumped. Crowd's pumped. That was a lot of – I think there was a mix of choking and a bit of cranking on the neck from there. But, yeah, it was a heavy pressure, using that size and strength, that power, and doing what he needed to do to get it done there.
Absolutely, and that's what you want to see in submission only, going for anything and everything that you can get. As you see there, he had the arm, which makes it actually less room as he, as you said, modified it into a neck crank.
Yeah, beautiful finish there from Stephen Tuggle.
What a great way to cap off the actual grappling matches tonight. All right, Stephen Tuggle smiling for the camera.
Yeah, the crowd loves Stephen Tuggle here. We love Stephen Tuggle here. And yeah, and as you heard from our announcer, Mr. Jamie Grant, we're going to have a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back with 2 kickboxing matches before we get started onto our amateur MMA portion of the card.
All right. We'll see you again here in 5 minutes, DFC 9. Joshua Boutwell, Zadeh, Zavashi Zadeh.
I wanted to mention on the fight, I didn't get a chance to, that Dalton actually competed earlier today. He competed at the ABF in Freeport this morning.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't have time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the arena, Zadeh.
All right, Mr. Zadeh coming out of Dominion MMA. We're going into the kickboxing rounds now, Chase.
Yeah, this will be exciting. Finally get some punches thrown, some kicks thrown. And the thing about these kickboxing matches, every one we've had at DFC, we have not had a bad one. You guys just nonstop action, throwing caution to the wind, looking for that finish and looking to set the crowd ablaze.
That's right. Fighting at 155, you can expect a lot of action for these gentlemen here tonight. Once again, thank you for joining us here at DFC 9. We are at the West Monroe Sports and Events Center.
Waiting for Mr. Siavashi Zadeh to come out here. A little bit taller than his opponent yesterday at the weigh-ins. Probably going to look to use that range and his reach to snipe his opponent from distance.
Absolutely. And as we hurry up out here, coming to the walkway, absolutely. Always happens after the break.
Yeah, everybody's a little bit lagging behind. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Mr. Zadeh making his way to the cage now.
All right, and these are considered amateur,
Yeah, this is amateur kickboxing.
so a little bit shorter round set.
Going to be three-minute rounds for this. Typical kickboxing rules. It's going to be who lands. Really, more than anything, the damage what matters. But accumulation of punches, how hard the punches are. If you get a knockdown, that's going to be an automatic -1 point for the person being knocked down. So that's a surefire way to win rounds, and of course a way to lead yourself to victory by doing that damage, finding a finish.
That's right. Kickboxing is based off of the traditional 10-9 system with knockdowns taking the point down.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the arena, Joshua Boutwell.
All right, Joshua Boutwell fighting out of Livingston, Louisiana, Fight School MMA. Another fighter from there. Again at 155. This will be his debut as well.
Yeah, both debuts for these guys, so it'll be interesting to see what they bring to the table here. Mr. Boutwell making his way to the cage now.
I do believe Mr. Boutwell is the younger of the two fighters, so we'll see if that makes a difference in the pace we see tonight coming out of them. Both always interesting when you have debut fights like this. You don't really have a library to go back on and see a style. So we'll be witnessing it live here with you tonight at DFC 9.
Yeah, both these guys going to look to, this is their first opportunity to really put themselves on the map, really make a name for themselves. So I'm sure they'll be coming out here, high-paced action, looking to make people want to tune into their fights.
Absolutely. Right, so again, three-minute rounds, 155 pounds. 6'2".
Yeah, it's going to be the opponent, Mr. Zadeh. Mr. Zadeh, not who the camera's on right now, is going to be the 6'2", the taller of the two fighters. And this here is Mr. Joshua Boutwell fighting out of Livingston, Louisiana from Fight School MMA.
All right, here we go. Again, three-minute rounds, ladies and gentlemen, in the kickboxing format. Touch glove for center. Mr. Zadeh taking center stage. Going for a head kick right out the gate. Trying to use that reach.
Easily. Oh, wow.
And with kickboxing, you do have to let the opponent come back to standing.
It looks. I guess he rolled that a slip, not a knockdown. Even though the strike did knock him over, he was off balance from throwing his own spinning kick.
Mr. Boutwell got inside on those two, but took a knee on the second entry.
Heavy shots landing here.
Both gentlemen landing quite heavy.
Oh, wow. So quick to flick that up there. Nice little straight side kick from Boutwell. Left hook lands to the body. Baiting the high kicks out of Zadeh now.
Yeah, I think he may have found a little bit of rhythm out of him already. But at that time got a spinning back fist for Zadeh. Zadeh kind of throwing every angle he can, seemingly.
Yeah, both these guys have landed heavy so far. No one's dropped just yet, but Zadeh wearing a little bit of it on his face. Got a knot right under his left eye. Takes a big left hook to the chin. Boutwell kind of teeing off a little bit there.
Seemed to be pretty comfortable. Grabbed the leg and went back into the shots to the head. Boutwell seemingly a headhunter right now. He did hit some lower shots earlier, but I think he's starting to feel himself now.
Yeah,
again, snapping. 3, 1, 2, 3.
Snapping that head back every time. Oh, and he lands. He drops him. That's got to be ruled a knockdown. Yeah, that's going to be a knockdown.
And starting the countdown, saying he's fine, ready to continue. But Boutwell shot seemingly to have a little bit of accumulation already here. 13 seconds left in the first round. A lot of action here already. Trying to go back for the head kick, trying to find a way to even up the score this quickly.
Oh, they're still just both landing so heavy, but it looks like Boutwell getting a little bit better of it.
Yeah, he's there just a moment sooner than his opponent inside of these exchanges.
I believe we had a little bit of a fight clock malfunction. I'm not actually sure where we're at in the round, but I don't think the round's going on longer than it's supposed to. I think the counter on our screen here is maybe having a little bit of technical difficulty. And another sits him down again with that left hook. Going to be a second standing 8 count. And is he going to be good to go here? If he gets dropped again in this round, then that's going to be the end of the fight. There's a 3 knockdown rule in effect.
That's right, 4 amateurs. Boutwell trying to find it.
Is that ruled a knockdown?
That's going to be ruled a slip. Essentially bailed out, rolling backwards. There's the 10-second mark. Boutwell just
that's going to be it. He's out. He's done. Joshua Boutwell finding the finish in the first round in the waning seconds. What a performance. What a debut. Getting inside that range, landing his shots.
Quite hungry, Mr. Boutwell, tonight.
Yeah, he had an absolutely spectacular performance. Really did everything he needed to do. Got inside that range and just picked his opponent apart. Wow, what a start to our striking portion of the card.
Absolutely. What an exciting round. Way to finish it with seconds left. Boutwell seeing that he had a chance to step on the gas and try it, and did. As we go to the decision here on the scorecard.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, we haven't had a boring kickboxing bout here in DFC just yet, and that stands to be true after that one.
Absolutely. What a great debut for Boutwell.
One more kickboxing matchup, and then we will be on to our MMA portion of the card.
That's right, moving into the amateur MMAs after one more fight.
And Mr. Boutwell says he feels good after that performance, said he felt confident coming in and stuck to his bread and butter, did everything he needed to do, and had a beautiful, dominant debut here in his kickboxing career.
Fantastic first round finish from Boutwell at his debut. Seemingly showing no fear as he walked his opponent down, which was the taller opponent.
Yeah, he even mentioned the reach himself. He knew that was going to be an issue, but he overcame it so well, got inside and just, picked him apart.
Absolutely. I will say the timing of Boutwell improved in that match. That's a great way, and that's a great indicator usually of someone who can find timing of their opponent. All right. Word to the sponsor, Tubs by Grubs. We'll move on to the next and final kickboxing match, this one at 170, a welterweight matchup. All right, Mr. Christopher Keeble, Dominion MMA, San Antonio, Louisiana.
Texas. San Antonio, Texas.
I'm sorry, San Antonio, Texas. I'm misreading my own words.
That's okay.
Absolutely. Both of these young men coming out to fight. Christopher, this is his debut. His opponent, Mr. Guillot, will be this will be a second fight, having a loss out of the first one, but showed a great demonstration on that one, so we're eager to see the reboot.
Yeah. Christopher Keeble on his way out to the cage now. Looks unimpressed. He had the same kind of look on his face at the weigh-ins yesterday. Just looks kind of bored with it. Doesn't seem to be, freaking out. Seems confident and calm, making his debut in front of this big crowd. Sold-out crowd here at our new venue, the West Monroe Sports and Event Center here in West Monroe, Louisiana.
Absolutely. And as we move into this, just want to remind everybody, again, amateur kickboxing, three-minute rounds. And just to touch on it, since we did just get to it, a 3 knockdown rule. So if the ref rules it was a knockdown and you get a 3-8 counts, that will be the end of the match.
Is that the case throughout? Did the knockdowns carry over between rounds, or is it 3 knockdowns in one round?
I believe it was in one round, but I'll have to look back into that.
Yeah, I believe that is the case. I just wanted to clarify. I believe that 3 knockdowns need to take place in one round, whereas let's say you get knocked down twice in one round, get knocked down again in the next round, you would not be a victim of the 3 knockdown rule.
That's right. And for amateur fights, this is the way you want it to be. You're trying to protect the fighter. You want them to have a long career in this. And this is a way to ensure that they go on to fight another day. All right, Now we're getting a little grease up.
Yeah, appropriately applied grease here in the striking portion. And that's, for those that don't know, that's so that glancing blows, basically the area around your eyes, your cheeks, you have bones, your cheekbones, your orbitals and everything, makes it very easy to tear that skin. So if it's a glancing blow, whereas a flush shot is just going to kind of rattle your whole head and not tear it, a glancing blow without that grease makes it very easy to cut you wide open. So that's why that is applied.
.6'2" for Christopher Keeble.
Yeah, he's going to have the height advantage here in this matchup.
Looking very calm, very relaxed.
Yeah, he looks like he's just like waiting in line at the store or something.
That's right. It's always interesting to put people under the bright lights and see how they react.
Yeah.
Joe Guillot.
All right, last kickboxing match of the night. Let's get it underway. Final instructions from Christopher, the Crippler Hill, our referee for this matchup.
That's right, telling them about knees, elbows, and how to work it inside of the amateur round. All right, getting in the middle. No glove touch. Instead, going into more of a Muay Thai stance for Mr. Keeble. Looking very relaxed.
Yeah, not very much movement at all from him, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I like to see a little more of just, moving your hands, moving your head, moving your feet. Those are kind of boxing fundamentals, but just throwing big shots is also good.
Moving out of a heavy Muay Thai, but now into a heavy-handed stance.
Yeah, he's just trying to finish with one punch. Like, that's what it looks like he's doing. He's just every shot trying to put his opponent down.
One thing out of the Muay Thai shell, you can throw a heavy hand out of each side because both hands being up and an equal, going off a teep kick into a heavy right hand.
Yeah, those are nasty. And you see the fact that Guillot is moving back now. When he was initially stalking his opponent, now he's the one being stalked. kind of getting in and out, which is a good idea. I would not want to take a single strike from Mr. Christopher Keeble here.
Especially in the first round, still fresh.
Yeah, he is throwing hammers. That kick is just so nasty. There's a long windup on it, but I feel like it's just so heavy. It kind of freezes his opponent up when he throws it.
Absolutely, going for another heavy hand, trying to put him against the cage, trying to use that time, breaking it up. Not quite MMA. You can't just quite lean on him that way.
Yeah, it's very short duration they allow them to clinch in these kickboxing
trying to
matchups.
send stuff straight down the pipe, just like you said, Mr. Christopher having a long windup. Maybe that's Guillot's best way is to go straight down the pipe, shorten the distance to the strike.
Yeah, and I like the way he's really getting in, landing shots and getting out. That's good. Maybe he'll find a time to land him a little cleaner than he has. He takes a big head kick there. But, yeah, standing in front of Christopher Keeble and taking a single one of those just seems like misery.
Absolutely, and because he's the longer fighter, his straight T kick and all that is going in a little bit longer and a little bit further than Guillot can reach.
Yeah, I would like to see whenever Mr. Joseph, every time he goes in, a little bit of slip there on that head kick. I would like to see him really pursue a little more whenever he does find his time to get inside, to really just push and try to step into his opponent a little more, land a little more heavy strikes when he gets there.
Yeah. And just like that, right, he swung in one, but he didn't follow up and continue the forward motion.
Yeah, he needs to keep his feet moving and really kind of push his opponent back with it. That's going to allow him to land a little heavier than he has been.
Absolutely. And that time he had a two-strike combo and immediately covered back up. I think he's finding a little bit of the timing with the legs, but not with the hands yet.
Yeah, and every time he throws a kick, especially a higher kick, he's dropping his hands, and that's where Christopher Keeble has caught him so many times. Big flurries here against the cage as there's 10 seconds left in the round.
Absolutely.
Just swinging heavy.
So continuing to follow up.
Weird reaction from Keeble at the end of the round there. I don't know if something happened with his shoulder there. He had some weird kind of reactions, but also
has been throwing pretty heavy shots.
Yeah, I don't know if he kind of threw his shoulder out a little bit. He's kind of looked over at it a couple times, but seems to be continuing on here.
So what adjustments do you expect to see out of the general movements?
So if I'm Mr. Guillot, I'm doing everything I can, one, to keep my hands up, because he's taking so many heavy shots to the head, heavy hooks, counters to the head whenever he throws his kicks, especially higher kicks. So I'm making sure I'm keeping my hands up, and I really think he needs to look to land heavier shots. I think Keeble does not respect his power too much right now, and even though Keeble isn't the most active striker, whenever he does throw, he's throwing heavy, and I think Guillot needs to really make him respect a little more, as we do have the doctor in looking at Mr. Keeble's shoulder, examining him. So something did happen. We weren't making it up here. I don't know if his shoulder got thrown out a little bit, but I think we're going to be proceeding here.
Doc gave him the all clear, moving on into the next round.
And even though he's been landing a lot, I would like to see Keeble kind of set up his big strikes more. I think he's going to maybe tire himself out, and that's something we could see play out, is the fact that he's throwing so heavy with every shot, putting his whole body into it. He could tire himself out as this fight continues.
That's right. He went for another head kick. That time Guillot actually stepped into it to not be on the outside radius of the kick.
Oh, so heavy with those hooks.
So heavy. And seemingly going to the body, then the head with the heavy strikes, making Guillot have a little bit of a guessing game. Both men bashing knees as they move in. It happens in kickboxing pretty often.
Yeah, even right here, he's getting some reactions. Guillot is getting some reactions as he takes the head kick and kind of trips his opponent down off catching the kick. He's getting some reactions when he throws those little light jabs, kind of putting them out there. He really needs to follow it up and land heavy shots behind those.
That's right.
Again,
that time ate the actual body shot. You saw it in his face, trying to get the leg trip, trying to find a way to wear down his opponent.
Ooh, the referee calls for a stop, but Keeble hangs on and throws a clenched knee after referee said break. That's probably, I would not be surprised. Yeah, it's going to be a point taken. That's what I was expecting to come out of that.
You have to take all directions from the ref.
But that was a heavy, nasty knee that Guillot took from there. The referee did say stop, and the knee was thrown after a referee said stop.
Again, always protect yourself at all times because you never know what your opponent will do or if your opponent heard the same thing you did.
Yeah, and that point's not going to matter if Keeble was able to find the finish here, and that knee was heavy.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Guillot seems to still be in it. Takes a big knee to the body there, but still looking to hunt his opponent here.
Trying to find a way to get a general headshot in himself.
Oh, nasty head kick. Loads it up, jumps into it. Wow, that was gnarly. So heavy.
Standing up right at the 8 count. Giving the gloves.
That was nasty. Was that shot of the night so far, Brock?
That was pretty impressive. Of course, Keeble going to wade right back in.
And still a minute left in this round, so we know that as he takes another head kick, is rocked. A third, a fourth. Number 5 lands under the arm. Wow, I cannot believe he's still standing. I think the second or third one may have kind of woke him up. I think he was almost going down.
Yeah, it was one of those things of like you shot him again and stood him back up. Both men just using the cage now, Guillot trying to clinch and buy himself some time. Yeah, his knees are wobbly.
It's over. Yeah, he's
good call by Chris Hill.
Just residual damage there from that flurry, that barrage of head kicks.
The same kick
Yeah.
over and over and over.
Which he'd been eating it. He'd eaten it several times already earlier in the fight, even in the first round. But I think that first one caught him so heavy, he kind of just couldn't react to it anymore. His body, he would see it coming, but he already was eating them, and I think he just.
There it is, the walk down and the throw.
Yeah, that was absolutely nasty. I think he just lost the ability to react, and good stoppage there. He just didn't have anything left in the tank as far as he wasn't there anymore.
Absolutely, and again, being amateur fights, we protect our fighters.
I'm so impressed by the power of Mr. Keeble here. So he gets his hand raised in his debut.
Absolutely. Right.
Wow.
Taking his pictures in the ring. Great debut showing a lot of power, the ability to walk down an opponent.
What he's not showing still is any emotion on his face.
Absolutely. The man is stone cold, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with my winner, Christopher Prime Keeble. Chris, look, man, I have never seen a hook kick like that. You're trying to kick the dude through the cage. Tell me, how's your preparation for this event made you come out like a maniac?
I suck, but I'm a tough guy, says Mr. Christopher Keeble.
All right.
Talks about enjoying the journey and the process, not the goal.
That's right. As we move on, that will be the end of the kickboxing, and we'll move into amateur MMA after this.
Yeah, we have a great lineup of amateur MMA coming up for you, followed by our 2 professional bouts being our co-main and main event. And yeah, thank you so much to all the sponsors that make this possible.
So as we move into the amateurs, it will be 6 amateur fights tonight from a wide range from 205 all the way down to 125. All right, we're going to go ahead and
yeah, so as you can see here on the screen, Caden Holyfield, Austin Cook, our next matchup, our first amateur MMA fight of the night. Austin Cook walking out now. This will be his second MMA fight. He is 1-0. His opponent, Caden Holyfield, making his amateur MMA debut here for us at DFC 9 tonight.
That's right. Caden has done some DFC grappling with us. Went 2-0, I believe, in that format before moving on to our amateur MMA. Really using it as a ladder step and showing a lot of maturity as he's went up to this.
Yeah, he had one match at white belt here for us at DFC and one at blue belt. Won both of those by submission. First one was a Kimura, second one arm lock. He has a very nasty, very gnarly kind of Kimura Americana game where he gets the bend in the arm, really tries to bend it behind their back, rips the shoulder out, and he is a strong fella. His opponent here, Austin Cook, walking in the cage now, fighting out of Elite Combat Academy from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Both of these gentlemen will be fighting at 205.
Yeah, this will be our only bout in the light heavyweight division tonight. Also our heaviest bout of the night. We don't have any heavyweights on the card. Both these guys, something I'm really excited about, even though they're light heavyweights, they're really in shape light heavyweights. Sometimes you get light heavyweights that just need to lose some weight and drop a weight class. These guys are both in shape, ready to fight light heavyweights. Going to be powerful, going to be strong. Both have good cardio.
All right, again, just like you said, great athleticism from what we've seen out of Holyfield for the grappling matches.
Interesting stylistic choice here for Mr. Caden Holyfield. I need to see where he got that from. I would like a cloak like that.
Absolutely. Coming out on the shield. So again, for those who don't know, this is the amateur MMA. This will still be three-minute rounds. But now we can see takedowns. Now we can see submissions and ground and pound put into the position, and of course the infamous MMA gloves.
Yeah. So no more of the big boxing gloves where you can kind of just shell up and defend a lot of those punches. Going to be able to slip those through. You're going to have to see a little more head movement, a little more parry and punches out of the way.
That's right. There is a big difference. You do not have a glove to absorb the incoming punch at all.
Mr. Austin Cook here, weighing in at 205. Yeah. Made his amateur debut 3 months ago, won with a first-round TKO. Going to see if he can repeat that here tonight against the hometown Caden Holyfield. But Austin Cook bringing a lot of fans over from Shreveport here.
So in this matchup, you would say Austin Cook a little more the striker, Holyfield a little more the grappler.
So I would think that, but Holyfield also has a little bit of exhibition boxing match experience, also has had a kickboxing match. Unfortunately, those videos aren't available, so I didn't get to watch and kind of get a grasp of his striking. But he's competed in striking matchups before, so this won't be new to him. It'll be his first MMA fight, but he's done striking in front of a crowd, in front of fans before. So I do expect him to spend a little time on the feet, but I would not be surprised to see Holyfield using his judo, using his jiu-jitsu, trying to get the fight to the ground either.
That's right. Cook found a straight shot down the middle, and so Holyfield immediately going to the outside leg trip.
Good wrestle up attempt. Holyfield on the neck now, looking for that power guillotine into the strikes.
Yep. The one thing about the...
Wow, beautiful throw from Cook. Lands into that
had an arm throw, moving into the scarf hold, and has his opponent's back against the cage. Holyfield trying to find...
Holyfield could, look to come out and take the back here. Loses it.
And Cook trying to find the guillotine, but Holyfield a little too high on the posture. So now Holyfield a little more in the slightly dominant position with his opponent's back to the cage.
Yeah, this is a good spot for Holyfield. If he can keep that tight waist and look to land some strikes using his right arm, this could be hard for Cook to get away from. Holyfield opting to kind of keep it more grappling, not looking to strike, as we kind of talked about before. Lands one after he gets him down. A little high on top, may slip off here. Yeah, it's just so many little things are happening, so many little back and forth transitions.
And one thing with the 205ers, both of them being strong in the first round, they can actually sometimes just pick the opponent off of them, even when it is a bad position.
Oh!
He got the inside liver shot.
Big shot, hurt him.
Now going in for a flurry.
Couple punches to the body. Yeah, Cook's still hurt here. He's trying to recover.
He's actually gripping so he can recover, trying to put up a hand in defense. Got the clenched knee toward Holyfield in retaliation, but Holyfield still leaning on his opponent, trying to wear him down and weigh him down. Holyfield looking like he was going to go for a leg trip there, but essentially walking him back out of the cage. Cook having a very interesting far side trip.
Oh, landed a nasty left hook to the body from such a close clinch range. It's made Cook sit down. That hurt him.
Cook trying to grab onto the leg so Holyfield can't quite take the back, but he has to be careful of the hammer fist from that position. One thing about 205ers, sometimes they can generate enough power in what would look to be an outside position.
But somehow off of all this, after Cook is hurt, managed to kind of reverse the position on Holyfield here.
Showing a lot of spirit, a lot of heart.
Yeah, and he got hurt at least twice bad in that round with body shots.
Absolutely. You wonder if Holyfield will put that in the information bank.
Yeah, Holyfield should keep going back to the body as he does just there. But I'm just really impressed that Austin Cook was able to kind of reverse this and kind of get Holyfield pressed against the cage. But he needs to land some damage. He's kind of just wearing on Holyfield a little bit. He's not hurting him at all. He's not scoring any points. He's almost certainly going to lose this round if he doesn't get anything more going than this.
Absolutely. Maybe trying to catch a breath, though, trying to find his way to the bell. You never know quite what's inside the fighter's head as we move into the 10-second mark. Holyfield himself needing to find a way. There he goes.
He's looking
back
to the body
again.
I think he hurt him again. He made him let go.
Made him let go. Actually found one shot to the head.
Yeah, definitely a Holyfield round. Some nasty body work. So nasty.
Showing body work and then ability to headhunt afterwards.
Yeah. I've never seen someone really kind of land those body shots so up close in the kind of over-under clinch they had with so much effect.
Holyfield, a young man, showing a lot of power and tenacity at 205, especially for a debut fight. I think probably surprised Cook the first couple of times he felt those body shots, and now we'll probably be a little more wary of them. What adjustments do you make if you're Austin Cook?
That is a tough question to answer because, especially the fact that he's just hurt as bad as he is, I expect those body shots to linger. Those stay with you. I expect those to take some fuel out of the gas tank. I do think that he really needs to keep the open space standing. I think that's going to be the best bet for him to win is keep range against Holyfield, which I think is going to be very difficult to do. I think that trying to be a sniper is going to be his best bet to try to win this fight.
That's right. Mr. Holyfield himself perfectly okay with getting in there and looking to be the slightly heavier fighter now that they've made weight the next day.
Yeah. And nice little straight kicking. Something we saw very briefly in the first round before they initially clinched up in the first 10 seconds. Cook was able to land a nice jab or cross that really snapped Holyfield's body back, and I think he really needs to focus on keeping that distance and trying to just land the straight punches, but does not manage. Holyfield catches the kick, follows with ground and pound, throwing legs out of the way.
Trying to clear the legs out of the way, trying to get back on top of his opponent. Eager is Mr. Holyfield tonight. Back into the bottom half guard and essentially is not letting him get the underhook by pulling a wizard on the far side, putting a lot of weight on his opponent. Austin Cook trying to find a lockdown to relieve some pressure. Holyfield's legs just maybe a touch too far forward for it.
Yeah. As we mentioned earlier tonight, really was doing a good job keeping both his opponent's shoulder blades on the mat, but now rolling up. But Holyfield looking for the belly down armbar off of this. Might be slipping off. Still got the arm and up over around that kind of side guard position. Loses
now Mr. Holyfield on bottom, and Cook trying to take the back position. Holyfield able to roll and barely making his way back to top side control, though. Showing a lot left in his own gas tank as we go back to the minute and a half mark in the second round.
Look for him to look for this Americana on that arm. That's something he really likes to do. And really small margins there. That was so close to being Austin Cook on Holyfield's back now. It's Cook on his back and really suffering from not being able to complete that transition. But
as he tries to wrestle up, found it, back to his feet.
Both these gentlemen looking pretty tired here. I think Austin Cook looking a little more tired. Lands a little more like a big overhand right.
Didn't land it. Found another one. Holyfield trying to come back with a right hook.
Yeah, they don't seem to be affecting Holyfield too much. And both these guys slowing down a lot. They expended so much energy in that first round.
This is the thing about light heavies. You can only go so long. Cook getting him against the cage.
Yeah, looking for that outside
Trying to
trip.
find the outside leg trip, trying to get himself in a dominant ground position.
And this is a spot where Austin Cook can really look to steal away the round if he lands some good ground and pound here. There hasn't been a ton of damage landed in this round.
That's right. Damage would probably be the deciding factor, both with having a takedown.
Yeah, if I'm Cook, I'm just continuing to punch nonstop as much as I can.
And Holyfield trying to find the far side. Kimura was able to get the knee shield in, but Cook standing up, trying to rain down punches.
Yeah, nice couple of strikes. There's not a ton behind him, but it's something.
Coming back on, getting the mount with 5 seconds left. If you're going to do something, now would be the time. Holyfield getting out, saved by the bell on that one.
Super close round there, but I would say, in my mind, Cook finishing in the mount, landing those strikes at the end, I think that could be enough for him to steal that one away. Definitely kind of the biggest moment, a great way to end the round for him for sure.
Absolutely.
Very, very close round after I would say a for sure surefire Holyfield first. Very close one in the second.
As I always say, I never, ever envy the judges in fights like this.
I'm really staking a lot, trying to call these rounds. It's very hard to do while just talking about the fights, but I'm willing to put it out there a little bit.
So we did see, though, that Cook does seem to win if he's in the dominant position against the cage and seems to do a little bit better in the standing. So do you try to essentially ride the bike if you're Cook and stay off the cage and try to land shots?
It appears to me that whoever gets their back to the cage, especially as tired as both of them are right now, I think whoever gets their back to the cage is going to get taken down and stuck on bottom. And I think it's going to take the top person to make a mistake for the bottom person to get out of there.
And that is the one thing about a 3-minute round. It's not a lot of time to work if you find yourself in a bad position.
Yeah. I really do think the most important win condition for both these gentlemen right now is to keep your back off the cage. Put your opponents back on it, take them down, get on top, win the round, win the fight.
Cook trying to find a little distance. Holyfield showing a little tiredness.
Yeah, a
little wobbly in the foot. Cook finding a big overhand right hand again.
Yeah, we saw it in the second round. We'll see it again in the third. And he lands another one.
Holyfield never really breaking eye contact with the opponent, but you can only take so many of those.
Yeah, if I'm Cook, consider just spamming that over and over. Holyfield has done nothing to try to stop it.
Holyfield going back to the body, maybe trying to remember the damage from round one.
Nice teep kick, good right cross counter from Holyfield off of that.
Both men kind of ducking now as the shots come in. I think neither one of them admitting they want to get hit.
Yeah, turning into a real brawl here. We get Holyfield pushed against the cage now. Let's see if Cook does manage to take him down, get on top, as we spoke about before.
Both men in a dogfight position. Cook a little willing to throw knees here, where Holyfield has not really been shown that, been more concentrated on the takedowns.
Yeah, positional advantage here for Austin Cook. Look in that trip. And
found the near side leg trip, falling in top of bottom half guard.
I feel like you can even see on Holyfield's face there kind of the way he just reacted when his back hit the mat. I know I said it beforehand, but I think he just kind of accepted, okay, I'm going to be here for a minute.
And Cook finding a modified mount with the cage, trying to get both knees in. Holyfield trying to wrap up the arms to make the position.
Yeah, and it could be a good idea for Holyfield also to try. He's close enough to the cage here to really use the cage to push off of, try to create some space, some movement, off-center your opponent's center of gravity, find yourself a way to get out from underneath them.
Absolutely.
But instead, his head's getting stuck in the cage, and that's what you don't want. It's very hard to move and get out from there.
Cook using the far side crossface to make sure he can't get too far away from the cage. It's kind of a good tactical decision from Austin Cook. Holyfield just trying to sit up, but taking some shots, maybe trying to get to bottom turtle, and just lands in a semi-modified S-mount quarter guard. Now back to turtle. But you got to be very careful here. Your opponent can flatten you out and you eat shots.
Yeah, this could be getting close to getting stopped. Holyfield's not showing any ability to get off the bottom, and Cook is just landing pretty unrelentless blows. Holyfield just covering up. A lot of them getting through, and that's going to be it.
And the fight called from the mount. Ground and pound for Austin Cook.
Yeah.
Showing tenacity coming out of the first round, was able to recover, and it slowly but surely wore his opponent down.
Yeah, that's a great point. The fact that he was so hurt in that first round from those body shots, managing to weather that storm, come back and find the finish the very end of the third round. The interesting thing also is I kind of had the second round scored for Cook. I don't know if the judges scored it that way. It was very close. He took it out of the judge's hands, made sure his hand is getting raised, finding his second TKO finish.
Absolutely. Moving on to 2-0 here at DFC 9 in West Monroe, Louisiana. Again, great debut coming out of Caden Holyfield. I'm pretty sure he'll compete again here. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, definitely got too tired, and they spent so much energy in the first round. And I'm going to toot my own horn and pat myself on the back here. I did say that whoever got their back on the mat first was not going to be able to get out. That proved to be true. Austin Cook laying the punishment down, getting his hand raised here tonight.
Both fighters showing great tenacity.
There it is, Austin Cook out of the blue corner, 2-0. Mr. Jamie Grant going to give him a little interview here. Hard-fought victory indeed. Got to shout out the wife.
Absolutely. That's a dangerous stay-at-home dad.
Yeah. Stay at home. That's a good idea. I'm gonna shout out my wife, see if I can be a stay-at-home dad.
Let me know if that works out for you, Chase. All right. What a great matchup. Of course, we fought at 205. Our next fight is going to be the exact opposite.
Yeah, going down to the flyweight division, 125, lightest division we have here at DFC.
Absolutely.
Quick shout out to our sponsors for making all of this possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're going to go into a brief 10-minute intermission here before we get into that flyweight division. We still have plenty of MMA action for you here at Delta Fighting Championship number 9.
That's right, DFC 9, West Monroe, Louisiana, the Events and Sports Center. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back in 10, ladies and gentlemen. All right, moving on into the 125s. James Hendrickx coming out of Dominion MMA, San Antonio, Texas. This is going to be a debut fight for him. His fighter, Gavin Smith, in the opposite corner, though, 2-0. Trying to move that into 3-0. James Hendrickx coming in, trying to make a name for himself against a semi-established opponent. So with the 125ers, what is the key difference you see between them and 205, Chase?
Well, in general, they don't hit as hard, and in general, there's a lot more movement, but we've seen the big guys with a lot of movement tonight. But yeah, in general, there's not going to be as much weight behind their punches. It's going to be a lot more, tactical, angular advantages kind of going on, a lot more footwork, head movement, all those things, and a lot more scrambles, which, again, we saw a lot of scrambles out of the bigger guys as well. But I will say that, Gavin Smith, the opponent that's going to be walking out next, does hit pretty hard. We've seen him fight before here at DFC. Got a TKO finish in his second fight earlier this year. So even though he is only 125, still packs a lot of punch.
All right, fantastic. So could see a change of pace from the stereotypical 125ers. And so for James Hendrickx, coming out of Dominion MMA, well-established school, we'll love to see what he brings to the table against this opponent, Gavin Smith, who will be the one coming up next.
Yeah, and I will say very brave of James Hendrickx and his team making his debut against a 2-0 opponent with 2 finishes.
All right, so Gavin Smith, now that second win, how long ago was that, Chase?
It was just 3 weeks ago. So not even a month ago he fought. He already had this fight scheduled as well. He scheduled 2 fights 3 weeks apart, got an early TKO finish, and is back to try to see if he can do it 3 times in a row.
Absolutely. So that one was so quick. He said, "I'll just go again, coach."
Yeah, this was already scheduled for him. So yeah, he felt so confident about the last one. He had already had this fight scheduled as well.
The heart of a lion coming out of Gavin Smith. Again, his opponent, James Hendrickx, on his debut. And 3 3-minute rounds here at DFC 9 for the amateur MMA fighters.
Yeah, and James Hendrickx, who will be in the blue corner, out of Dominion MMA. They have a lot of guys on our cards and always show up, always game, always super skilled, in-shape fighters. So it'll be interesting to see, why they feel so confident putting their guy, making his debut against the 2-0 opponent.
Also, if he had a fight 3 weeks ago, you'd have some footage, right?
Yeah, and there's footage also of Gavin Smith from our previous DFC 5s when he made his debut and fought Kiana Justilana, had a beautiful kind of a jumping Superman punch, dropping his opponent, sitting him down for the TKO.
So can't wait to see how that goes.
Mr. James Hendrickx here in the blue corner.
Again at the 125 flyweight. So for Gavin Smith, he is triad, but it is out of Alabama, which is one of the franchise schools. But still, triad, a well-known name here. Always love fighters that come in to fight here at DFC 9.
Yeah, Coleman, Alabama being their actual school headquarters, and the Ruston School, the more local school here, also just so many talented people. It could be a headquarters in itself, all the talent they produce in that building.
All right, establishing early dominance into the cage control.
Yeah, looking to stall.
Spinning
good
back
head
kick,
movement.
though. Again with the heavy hands from Gavin, like you said earlier.
And look at the transitions from these guys, just up and down like it's nothing.
Sort of a modified Imanari roll out of Gavin, showing kind of the ability to play 3D chess here. Big overhand to open the combo, trying to hunt down his opponent.
Yeah, just stalking him and landing some heavy shots is Gavin Smith.
Hendrickx just kind of covering up, but coming out of it saying, "Come back at me." I think he has a plan to wear his opponent down to kind of take the long shot in.
Yeah, he's definitely looking for a timing to land something big. He's not throwing any kind of volume at all. He's going to look to time Gavin Smith closing that distance to try to land maybe a big knee to the chin is what I'm thinking. A big kick. He keeps feinting that wheel kick.
Gavin Smith does have a slightly more open stance, sort of the modified karate stance you sometimes see in MMA.
Yeah.
For that very reason, a right hand right down the pipe. That is one thing that you get out of that modified stance.
Good job keeping his posture here, keeping that head up, not getting brought down to that guillotine, managing to find some lift. Now going for the legs as James Hendrickx has that underhook, trying to pick his opponent up, trying to keep him off his hips here.
So this is essentially one of those things where that kind of grip that Hendrickx has, as his opponent tries to lift him, it actually brings more leverage, and sometimes he can get the rock back and take down himself.
Yeah, kind of bouncing in between that underhook grip and that threatening the guillotine choke.
Sort of trying to fish his leg in and out, and just a straight-up super high single leg, especially for the 125 class.
Yeah,
Hendrickx not letting go, though. I think maybe looking for a bulldog arm lock, but moving, trying to get in that sort of modified shoulder crunch.
Yeah, looking to try to stuff an arm through for a triangle. Would like to see him do a little more off balance and, make his opponent a little off balance. Make him post that arm before you do it. Makes it a little easier to set it up.
And that actually allowed Gavin Smith to just kind of pop through. Didn't quite get the staple on him, though, so now we're in the up kick position. Gavin Smith trying to rain punches down, though. Not letting his opponent really get any sort of setup. And that's the one thing about up kicks. You kind of got to get a chance to set your hips in order to do it.
Yeah, I really like how Gavin Smith really just finds the timing to pull the trigger, and he just commits all in as he eats a heavy up kick, sits him down. That up kick hurt him bad, and he is on the ropes here, trying to lock a standing rear naked choke and jump to the back, but puts himself back on the ground, on his back, in the full guard. But Gavin Smith got rocked from that up kick.
Absolutely did. Something you have to be careful with. And, I mean, Gavin is not the taller opponent here, so when it comes to up kicks, the reach is there for his opponent, James Hendrickx. James now working off his back with the last several seconds. What a round. Both of these gentlemen showing a lot of tenacity. Downed opponent at the last moment.
Yeah, it's unfortunately not a lot on that, so it's going to be like a little warning from the ref. Didn't cause any significant damage there. So good that didn't land very clean or flush.
There it is, 2 head kicks in a row from that up kick position, trying to rain position down.
Yeah, and that ended up making it a very close round. The fact that he came close to putting his opponent away from there. So Gavin Smith definitely had some early success and mid-round success, but James Hendrickx right at the end kind of bringing it back, making it a very, very close round. But that was the most significant moment, the fact that he sat him down with those up kicks.
Absolutely, something you have to think about and be worried about. You don't see it very often at the top level because most of those guys have trained themselves into safety, if you will, from those positions. However, at the amateur level, you have to be considering the up kick, especially from the taller opponent.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we do manage to go to the judges' scorecard, like how that first round got scored, because it ended up being a lot closer than I expected it to be within the last 30 seconds.
Absolutely. So we sat here for round 2. Both gentlemen touching gloves again. Hendrickx trying to go for a straight leg kick, and there's the flying head kick.
Yeah, still didn't quite make it all the way up there to the super tall James Hendrick's head as he tries to go for the wheel kick, but Gavin Smith times him, dumps him.
However, Hendrickx actually has a lot of body control here, trying to get some hammer fist in from the bottom position.
And several landed there.
And now trying to get an arm, really trying to put his opponent in a blender, if you will, from bottom position. Oh, he pushed his opponent off, but his opponent coming back in.
Nice little knee slide. Some very interesting transitions from these guys. Both of them highly skilled for being so early in their careers. Remember, debut for James Hendrickx here as he looks for the heel hook.
And getting a modified, not quite Aoki lock, not quite heel, not quite ankle lock.
Yeah, Gavin Smith going for the Aoki lock, looking for that outward turn on the top of the foot, on that straight foot lock. It's becoming more and more popular these days. And if he can get a little shallower on that foot, he could get it as Hendrickx tries to
find the outside heel hook. But this is the thing about the Aoki lock. It's one of the reasons why is because you usually can buy enough time with your legs being crossed that your opponent can't quite get. Now they're in a true 50-50 position.
Yeah, Gavin Smith needs to shallow himself out on that foot some more. He's too deep. He has too much of the leg and the foot in there. You want it to almost feel like it's slipping out. He needs to try to find a way to move his legs down his opponent's legs. They're kind of connected to his opponent's hips. He needs to get his own legs like kind of closer to his opponent's knee to be able to find the leverage he needs to finish that.
And Hendrickx now definitely the fighter with the slightly more dominant position as he's sitting up, but I will say Gavin Smith still trying to find a way to get the leg to work. However, you'll have to be careful with the taller opponent. Hendrickx could find a way to sit up here.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah,
yep, and there it is.
Yeah, he's going to sit up, going to start landing strikes. That's a great way to counter that in MMA. In jiu-jitsu, you don't have to worry about those punches. You can just hold on to the leg.
Smith in the lasso trying to get some distance, but Hendrickx being very heavy on that forward hip, still looking to throw a shot. I think he's happy where he's at.
I'd like to see, or he does sit him back anyway, but I really would have liked to have seen Smith try to reap the leg there, turn that knee towards the inside, and force his opponent down, kind of hands down towards the mat.
Oh,
as
that
he lands
time
a big
Gavin,
kick.
heavy kick, stopped his opponent dead for a moment there. Just didn't quite flatten him out.
Yeah.
Now he's in the dominant position. Up kicks, the name of the game with these two gentlemen tonight.
Yeah, incredible that's happened twice in the same fight. In reverse. In reverse.
Yep, and reverse the positions both times. Now this time he's on top at the end.
A little shoulder strike from
Little
there.
shoulder strike, trying to loosen your opponent up. It's a good way to sometimes, if you have the time, sort of wear him out, get a slightly better position.
Yeah, very strong.
Hendrickx trying to find a way out the back door as the round ends.
So really in reverse from the first round in opposite direction. So first round we had Gavin Smith kind of taking control early. James Hendrickx landing the up kick, landing the strikes towards the end. This round, the exact opposite. Gavin Smith.
And there it is.
Just timing, as you see on the replay here, timing the hands coming up, making it a legal up kick, not bearing weight on the hands, lands the punches, like complete opposite of the first round. But
absolutely. So both gentlemen putting on a great show. Very hard to score, actually, with this one as we head into the third and final round between these two. What adjustments do you make for Hendrickx, and what adjustments do you make for Smith, would you say?
Yeah, that's a very tough question because both these guys, they've shown so much ability to adapt, and just the fight's been kind of so wild. So you could I would just say they're so unpredictable. It's hard to really boil it down for me right now as we've been talking about it. I do think that if someone could try to slow themselves down and just be a little more thoughtful in how they're approaching, but not be so wild about things, try to really build an attack up, I think that could be helpful. A lot of respect being shown between these three. I think it's likely 1-1 going in the third here. I don't know. Both rounds very close.
That's right. It's one that you definitely don't want to leave on the judges' scorecards considering how close it is. Smith trying to open up with a head kick. Hendrickx didn't quite flex it out, but it didn't seem like Gavin would have defended that one quite in time.
Yeah, and I will say, if we happen to get back to the ground again, one of the most important things may be to not stand in front of the open guard so we don't get the head kick. Gavin Smith
showing the heavy-handedness we talked about earlier.
He's hurt.
Hendrickx is hurt.
He's just covering up.
Heavy head ducking up. Got a small shot on a clinch. Push kick. Trying to keep his opponent backwards. Deep breath out of Hendrickx.
Yeah, as you can see here, perfect example of the best defense is a good offense. Whenever he was just covering up, he was just eating the punches. As soon as he starts punching back, it backs his opponent up, finds some room to breathe.
Again, the wide stance of Smith allows that long open shot straight down the pipe. And Hendrickx very much so puts the hands up in almost a classic boxing position. That's one of the things I think has allowed Gavin Smith to have that opening every time he comes in.
It's allowing him to get to close the distance, too, because the hands are so close. He's able to kind of close that distance. Hendrickx isn't firing off fast enough to pop him when he tries to come in. So, yeah, I do think kind of keeping his arms a little longer out could be helpful to help manage that distance in that range.
Trying to find some sort of rhythm here as we're halfway through the third and final round.
Yeah, look at him reacting. Gavin just flexed on him, just kind of feinted him into throwing himself onto the ground here.
Hendrickx diving for the legs now.
Yeah,
I think both men trying to find a finish.
Yeah, and Hendrickx.
Gavin Smith does have Hendrickx in a little bit of a heel hook position.
Yeah, good job fighting the hands here. So that's kind of late stage defense. That's basically you're fighting the hands so that they don't break your leg at that point. As far as escaping goes, you want to once you get those hands separated, you want to start getting your foot to the floor or punching them in the head works too. That's a good way to make them let go as well.
Well, and one thing with being the longer opponent, you can reach him that way.
Yeah, it's hard to win these positions in MMA as the shorter fighter. You got to be really
moving to the opposite side leg. So showing a lot of control, but Hendrickx able to actually punch him from the sitting position.
Yeah, and this is really allowing, again, just like we happened before in the last 2 rounds, this is really allowing Hendrickx to come back in this round. Gavin Smith was tearing him up on the feet. You know, he was the only one that landed anything clean and landed a lot. And Hendrickx wasn't doing very much from the stand-in, but now that we're on the ground,
left.
Yeah, now that we're on the ground, Hendrickx is able to land so many shots and has really brought this round back.
That's right. Gavin Smith not really able to do much to his opponent at all from this bottom side position, and a modified toe hold, kind of the opposite side wheel. Very difficult to land that one.
Yeah, very difficult to land, and I think for my money, this fight very difficult to score. It's so back and forth, so weird. It's the leg lock positions, you know, you don't see a lot of that in MMA. You don't see a lot of the up kicks landing, hurting people. We saw that twice. We saw the leg lock positions happen twice for so long. It's a really, really kind of strange fight, but very fun.
Very fun. Gavin Smith showing a lot of ability to move forward. Hendrickx, I would say, won most of the ground exchanges over time, even though it was in a damage way.
Yeah.
And both men going for leg locks.
Yeah, but that's what matters, you know, especially if there's not a finish in there. You want to be accumulating those strikes, those powerful punches. That's what the judges are going to remember, and that's what they're going to give you points for. It's going to be a very, very interesting to see how this decision plays out.
As we move to the judges' scorecards.
Yeah, this is one that I'm glad I'm not a judge on.
As we wait for the official decision, we still have 4 more amateur fights coming up tonight, followed up by 2 pro for a co-main event.
Yeah, and I think the judges are really, you know, taking a minute to
That's
consider
right.
everything.
They just gave him to Jamie as he walks in. All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Westman, Roosevelt, Louisiana. After 3 rounds of action, we go to our judges' scorecard for a final decision. All 3 judges score this bout
Unanimous decision.
Winner, the red corner, Mr. Gavin.
Out of the red corner, Gavin Smith going to go to 3-0. Such a close fight. I would not have been surprised if that ended up being a split decision. But, man.
What a tough round. What tough heart. Hendrickx showing a ton of potential as that was his debut fight.
Yeah, incredible performance. Nothing. He's going to feel bad, but he shouldn't. James Hendrickx there.
Tell me, is this what you expected out of a debut fighter? You're currently now 8-1 as an amateur. Tell me, what do we do next, Gavin?
Gavin Smith giving respect to his opponent, James Hendrickx. Gave him a tough battle in there tonight. Probably one of the toughest fights he's had so far in his career.
Absolutely. For Hendrickx, great fight.
His record wrong. He's now undefeated at 3-0.
That's right, Jamie moving it up. It's actually a 3-0 win for Gavin Smith. That's the thing I love, though, about modern MMA. We see fighters coming out at their debut doing very, very high-level things. There was a time when you wouldn't have even seen leg locks attempted like that inside of an amateur fight. They both wouldn't have known what to do. Now they do. Learning these things at very early ages. Very slick transitions, very slick takedowns, very well-rounded fighters coming out. It's one of the things I really love about this level of MMA.
Yeah, you see so many interesting things. There's so many things that happen in that fight you don't normally see, but still just so much talent, so much skill, so much heart and passion for getting in there and competing, leaving it all out there, proving yourself, proving to everyone else that you're the man in front of this big crowd and the bright lights.
Zach Hand making a debut out of Ethos Martial Arts. I believe that's in Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, that's right. Ethos, great gym over there. A lot of good talent coming out of Ethos.
Absolutely. This fight will be at 155. Again, still an amateur fight, so 3 3-minute rounds.
Both these guys making the lightweight limit of 156. Zach Hand weighed in slightly smaller than his opponent, just about 2 pounds at 154. And Jacob Cobb, his opponent, weighing in at 156, using that pound allowance.
All right, so for Zach Hand, the debut, really want to see exactly what the fighter brings out in the first round versus his opponent we have seen actually in a kickboxing match, so we do have some idea of what the striking will look like from there. But in general, not much to go on for Zach Hand, so I'm excited to see what we get on the tape tonight for this man going forward.
Yeah, and I want to say my experience with Ethos is they produce a lot of grappling talent out of their gym, very skilled grappling-based gym. They do also have good striking coaches, and so I don't know for sure what his style is going to be, but I expect him to have good jiu-jitsu. And up next, making his way to the cage, Mr. Jacob Cobb, hometown, always getting big cheers.
Absolutely, coming out of Cron Gracie Jiu-Jitsu of West Monroe, which is only literally a few minutes down the road. A lot of local support for this man. Again, fought in a DFC 8 kickboxing match, right?
Yeah, that was our last show against the DFC veteran Chico Olvera. And Cobb showed a lot of promise in that fight. He didn't get the victory. He got stopped on the 3 knockdown rule. And I would like to see a big mistake. The main thing he did wrong in that fight was really just kind of overcommitting to everything and trying to knock his opponent out with every shot, not setting his shots up. And his opponent, Chico Olvera, the savvy veteran he is, really took advantage of that and landed some big shots on Jacob Cobb. But I think Cobb maybe, got that first one out of the way, going to be able to rein it in a little bit and try to, kind of balance himself out there a little more.
All right, so as we move into debut versus debut, as always here at DFC 9, great talent, cornered there by Jesse Butler.
And the crowd again going wild for Mr. Jacob Cobb. A lot of support in the building. Mr. Jamie Grant here with our introductions for these fighters.
Zach Hand looking rather calm on his debut. All smiles.
Mr. Jacob Cobb in the red corner.
Really has the crowd support behind him tonight. And we will see how they do under the lights here at DFC 9. As action begins, glove touch. Cobb, the slightly taller fighter. We'll see how that works out in the striking and grappling tonight.
One thing interesting I'm seeing already is Zach Hand kind of effortlessly switching stances. It's kind of a high-level thing to do, and he seems to be comfortable fighting out of both stances. And so I may be eating my words. He may be a little more of a striker than I thought.
We'll see again with the switch. Really on the back angle, too. Little advanced way to change the angle and not get the fight.
It's really subtle as he lands a good strike and a little bit partially tripped, I believe, but landed a couple of good punches there. Points down at the ring and says, let's fight.
Cobb trying to find something down the pipe.
Oh, axe kick. Oh, heavy.
Solid, heavy
punches,
hit.
and Cobb is rocked.
Rocked Cobb. Cobb trying to find a clinch.
Clinch is a good idea. Eats a big knee on the way in. Zach Hand just really laying it on him.
Hand giving him the middle finger.
Cobb
trying to find the big overhand right.
Yeah, going back to his old ways of just swinging for the fences. Really, definitely needs to keep those hands up. Maybe even try clinching a little bit. He's getting hit pretty hard here at range. I think Hand may have the striking advantage here.
Hand definitely seems to be inside power.
Yeah.
Cobb generating things out of a little bit bigger of a wind-up.
Yeah, Cobb definitely not the cleaner of the striker of the two. Hand just really comfortable and poised in there. Does take a little one on the chin, but kind of slips out of the way of most of the power.
Hand kind of standing up straight now, feeling a little comfortable there as he threw the push kick.
Yeah, Hand just seems so comfortable there. Like he's taking a couple, he's wearing a little bit of damage, but Definitely not as much as Cobb. We've seen Cobb get hurt a couple times already.
Cobb did get the counter on that exchange, gets the body kick, but his hands are starting to get low.
Yeah, he's finding a little bit of range here, but I'm worried about what could happen with his hands being as low and as loose as you referenced.
And definitely still continuing to paw a jab, even before his push kicks, trying to really understand the distance of the longer fighter out of Jacob Cobb.
I'd like to see Hand get a little busier. Cobb is moving a lot, but Hand isn't really throwing very much. And when he has thrown, he's landed pretty well.
Yeah, not a lot of combinations out of either one of these gentlemen. I think both wanting to try to find a little bit of a power shot.
Snap the head back on the jab, did Cobb.
Cobb got a clean shot there.
Nice kick to the
Hand
body.
got the kick. Was grabbed by Cobb, but he wasn't able to really do anything.
Oh, nice.
10 seconds, nice overhand. Right hand trying to find the uppercut. Cobb trying to find the counter.
Yeah, both these guys just swinging for it now. They heard the 10-second clapper. Fun first round. Hand seemed to take a little bit of offense to Cobb not wanting to slap his gloves. Says he's going to come get him for it.
Cobb feeling feisty as the round ends. Zach, of course, seeming to take that as a disrespect.
Yeah. So I'm giving first round to Hand based off the damage, based off the reactions he got out of those early strikes. Really had Cobb wobbled, dropped. But Cobb really brought himself back towards the end of the round, landed good strikes of his own, but I just don't know if it was enough to overcome what Hand did early on.
That's right, yeah, the essentially almost getting the knockdown there, just being saved by the cage into the clinch. It is something probably the judges will see. I believe Hand will probably just need to really open up in a larger barrage. Cobb will need to find more of the counter-stopping power. Touch his gloves that time.
Yeah, offers for the third time. And finally gets an accept.
Ready?
Both these guys gassed up and ready to go for this second
Very
round.
much so. Hand opening again with a body kick. Inside leg kick, not really much there.
Cobb early on keeping his hands a little higher, but I'm worried we're already starting to see him drift down a few seconds into the round. Lands a good straight right there. And I do think the movement of Cobb is kind of throwing off Hand's rhythm. The fact that he's kind of constantly circling, I think he's not ever where Hand wants him to be to really get his strikes going.
Absolutely. Going back to the reason why Hand probably would need to open up with more combos to slow his opponent down and put him in a more predictable pattern.
Yeah.
Because Cobb does seem to be reaching from the outside as he moves into a step almost every time, trying to use that reach to his advantage, just landing little sniper shots.
Yeah, and he's really he's turned the fight around by using that movement and just kind of picking them apart from distance. And I really think Hand, kind of like we both mentioned already, using that combos and his footwork, I think he has the skills to do what he needs to do, but I don't know if he recognizes what he needs to do to really land the strikes.
Cobb getting big hands on that one. Hand trying to get the inside leg, does take his opponent down.
Yeah, first takedown attempt of the fight so far, and it is successful, at least for the time being. Tries to get to the back. Cobb using the cage to help keep Hand off the back.
Really trying to push Cobb back in front of him. Hand again getting the leg trip, trying to step over,
Gotta
trying
be
to get to the
back
back.
in the neck here, yeah.
And he's going to squeeze.
That's probably going to be it. That's deep.
That is deep. We'll see if it's enough to get the choke.
That's likely going to be the fight. He's got to be close to going out at this point. I can't see the exact lock, but that's a deep choke. He's close to going out, I believe.
Cobb trying to reach back.
And I would not be surprised to see him go out. I think he's out at the moment. He's out, ref. Ref, he's out. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cobb going out on the sword and shield. Hand getting to the back.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you need to check if he's there when the arms are clearly both limp, but we finally do get it called.
Was showing really great damage, and then Hand going for the desperado single. Ends up winding in a dominant position when the exchange was over. Basically got two chain takedowns to get to that position, but once he got the back, was able to lock it in. And see, from there, Cobb was okay. And then again, Hand finding the far side leg, got the leg trip back down.
Yeah, it's always scary when people start turning their back as they're getting up like this, because as you're pushing yourself up, your neck, you're trying to raise, so your neck naturally gets extended, and it's a prime target for that arm to shoot in and quickly wrap up the choke.
And Hand got very, very deep on that and essentially was not letting go.
Yeah, great performance from him, and Cobb was really finding success on the feet there, but Hand, you know, he did what he needed to do, changed the perspective of the fight, took it to the ground, and that's why it's mixed martial arts. You know, Cobb was finding the advantage on the striking, Hand changed it up, got him to the ground where he had the advantage, and found the victory. What a debut.
Zach Hand saying he's ready to take on any other fight in the South Central Louisiana and United States. Wanted to show his skills off in striking, ended up getting the win and a complete submission by a rear naked choke. All right.
One thing that's interesting about that, it's something you see whenever people are in chokes for a long time before they need to tap. That's typically when you see them go out. I believe, you know, once it finally gets fully set, the fact that you've been kind of without the oxygen for so long, without the blood flow for so long, with it just being restricted to a certain amount, that's when you typically see people go completely out from those.
Absolutely. Rear naked choke being kind of a long set, but a very hard to escape out of choke. One of the reasons why is still the #1 submission in no-gi grappling all the way up, even with the modern inverting with the leg locks.
Right.
The rear naked choke is still the #1 submission. All right, our next fights we're going to move into is going to be 170 pounds.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. James Ibanez and Van Stewart. Van Stewart, a DFC veteran. James Ibanez, this will be his first fight for DFC. Has one previous MMA fight with a very controversial split draw where a lot of people thought the referee should have stopped the fight at the end. He was really landed, I believe it was like 26-30 unanswered punches on his opponent, rest didn't stop it, and ended up scoring it a draw.
So Mr. Ibanez coming in out of Dominion MMA, San Antonio, Louisiana. Texas. That's the second time I've done it.
San Antonio is not in Louisiana, Mr. Brock. It is in Texas.
I'm going to go buy a map after this. Did make weight, did have to go for his second weigh-in. I do remember that. So he should be coming in as a pretty heavy fighter, whereas his opponent, I believe, easily made weight.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays in anything tonight.
Both these guys, as you can see on the screen here, Mr. Van Stewart, really ripped up, shredded. He looks even more ripped and shredded than that currently, and so does his opponent, Ibanez, who here in the picture is carrying a little more body fat, but yesterday at the weigh-ins was looking shredded, ripped, ready to go. I think it's going to be a high-paced action fight with some heavy hitters. Very brawly style from Ibanez. I believe he's going to kind of want to get in the phone booth and swing loopy punches, catch his opponent. I think Van Stewart's going to want to be a little more rangy, a little more technical with the striking.
Absolutely, and Van will sometimes transition into a pretty heavy grapple set when needed. We've seen before from him. All right.
Mr. Ibanez getting greased up, ready to enter the cage for DFC for the first time.
Again, we are still inside of the amateur bouts, so this will be three-minute rounds inside the cage here tonight at DFC 9. Ibanez looking ready. Moving him over to the blue corner, Chris Hill.
As you can see here, looking really shredded, ripped, ready to go.
Van Stewart fighting out of Triad here in Ruston, Louisiana, only 30 minutes down the road. A local fighter, has fought a few times here. I believe first fight was at DFC?
Yeah, he made his debut for DFC, had I believe it was a third-round rear naked choke. Great fight against Chris Markham, that one was.
So I believe his record being 3-1 now. Has shown a lot of heart. Is a Ruston firefighter.
Yeah, that's right. Hero.
Right, so do believe he's a trains jiu-jitsu as well, kind of a well-rounded fighter. Love to see what he brings here tonight.
And you see in his corner, Mr. Josh Lee going to be in our co-main tonight, his actually last retirement fight.
That's right. Announced it as a retirement fight for tonight in our co-main event. Josh Lee.
And yeah, Van Stewart, a little taller than his opponent. And as I mentioned, I think he's going to really want to keep the range. He has much longer limbs, taller than his opponent. And Ibanez, from what I saw in his one fight, really seemed to be brawly, loopy with his strikes.
Should be some fireworks.
Yeah, this one's going to be fire. Do not leave. This is not the fight to miss.
Listen to the crowd.
Yeah, big Van Stewart fans here.
Van looking a little more relaxed than I remember him in his last fight. Could be a great sign.
Yeah, and his last fight, that was the one that he lost. So he's coming off a loss, going to be hungry to get that back. Lost to Trey Frazier, who's an absolute phenom, 8-0 now in MMA, also undefeated kickboxing. So no shame in losing that one. No one else has been able to take him down either.
Right, already we see Ibanez being highly twitchy, a little lower in his stance. Van trying to get the looping shot. He actually did get the one hook in, trying to do something. When your opponent's that low, you tend to have to change the angles of your shots.
Yeah. Ibanez doing a lot of movement with his head, which I like, but I wish he would add some hand movement in there too. Really, throw some feints. I think that would allow him to kind of close that range a little bit. Right now he's just moving his head, and that's not going to be enough to find what he's looking for here to help him get inside.
That's right, because Van has already went to some lower leg shots as a way of once your opponent's moving their head and not their body, you just kind of take a shot at the leg.
Yeah, because he's leaning his head over that leg, so that leg's going to be heavy. It's going to be hard to pick it up in time when he throws that kick.
And as we all know, if you've ever been kicked in the calf more than a few times, it doesn't take long before you don't want to move anymore.
Yeah, Van doing a good job of doing his, sticking to his win condition so far, keeping the distance. And now he gets pushed against the cage. I think that's somewhere Ibanez could find some advantage.
Ibanez's hands really loaded up, really looking like he's looking for a shot. I think it's kind of changed the way Van has moved in here.
Yeah, Ibanez, Van needs to make sure that he doesn't catch those kicks. I would keep the kicks low for now. And keep his back off the cage. So circling, it lands a nice left hook off that circle out. But yeah, as long as Van can keep it out here, not let a kick get caught, he seems to be golden.
Because Ibanez is so low, it really seems like he isn't reaching really high for the punch, just allowing Van to just lean out of it.
Yeah, and Van did a great job checking that leg kick that's going to hurt Ibanez more than it hurts Van. It's going to make him stop throwing those.
Ibanez really seeming to not move enough. Van starting to try to find the distance right there. Right there at the end of the shot is where it's connecting.
Yeah, this is going to keep happening if they stay in the center of the cage like this. Ibanez really needs to find a way to put more pressure on Van. He doesn't seem to know how to use his hands to cause Van to react and be able to push him backwards. Loses the mouthpiece there.
Loses the mouthpiece. Ref has not stepped in yet because there is a series of clinch throws coming out.
Yeah, this is getting nasty. This would be a good time to have the mouthpiece, but he's not going to stop it mid-action, and Van's not stopping with it. Heavy knees, drops him. That's going to be
the
it.
Shot, and there the ref calls it.
And our first blood of the night. It's a bloody summer here in West Monroe, Louisiana. Van Stewart getting it done.
Getting it done inside of the first round.
Yeah, Ibanez in some pain, really feeling that some heavy strikes. Nasty sequence to be on the wrong end of. Van doing everything he needed to do, showing respect.
Respect being shown, both bowing to each other. True martial artist. Now that is what you want to see, though. The moment you sense a little bit of weakness coming in, instantly put him in the Muay Thai, multiple knee clinches, uppercut, really trying to walk his opponent down once he felt his opponent hesitate.
Yeah.
Again, knee clinch, knee clinch.
It felt like a matter of time before something like this finally happened. Like Ibanez just, he didn't have any ability, he didn't have the skill set that he needed to close that distance, and he was just going to get picked apart from range. And Van finally, landed enough that he started pressing forward and found the finish that he needed.
The crowd again loving Van Stewart here tonight. Ibanez goes on to take a loss, but great respect for both of these fighters.
A little interview here with our winner.
Van admitting that he was more prepared for a ground game, but Ibanez not really opening that up, so he took what he could.
Yeah.
Great adjustment.
Yeah, and that would have been the spot that if Ibanez could have been on top, that would have been the spot that he could have found some success maybe, but never could quite get it there. But Van, saying he was ready for that if it happened.
So as they continue to take the pictures, we will move into 155 after this. This time with opponents who have both fought in MMA and even some kickboxing for one of them.
Yeah, a lot of experience in this next fight. It's going to be a great matchup, I think, between both of these two. I think they're very closely matched. Good, both like long, rangy builds, so not going to be the same thing we just saw from here where one opponent was like much taller and longer than the other. They're going to have similar builds, both tall, long guys for the weight class.
AtomicInkLA.com for those tuning in for the subscriber set. Anthony Lewis coming out of Ethos Martial Arts out of Tyler, Texas. Weighed in at 153, seemed to make weight pretty easily. This is a man who has kickboxing and MMA on his record. I believe, what is the record? Is it 1-1 MMA, 2-1 kickboxing?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, a lot of stand-up experience, and even in his MMA fights, where you can go to the ground, he seemed to prefer to keep it standing. Likes to throw the punches, likes to throw the kicks. He does. From what I've seen, has a problem with kind of throwing one at a time, kind of nonstop, but just not really combinations. Just like throws the punch, throws the kick. I would like to see him try to put it together a little more. We'll see if he can do that here tonight.
Absolutely. I believe his opponent has a submission win, which we'll get to here in a minute. So it'll be interesting to maybe see how this matches up here tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this one kind of, mixed the martial arts a little bit, went to the ground. I do expect to see a lot of stand-up from the start, but I wouldn't be surprised, someone maybe gets on the wrong end of it, gets some takedowns, and a lot of grappling.
Also, again, as you said, both of these fighters are tall for 155, so it'd be great to see how they match up. Always love to see fighters that have reach as they go into weight classes like this. It means they can usually generate power through the length of the punch.
Yeah, and Anthony here, Crazy Tony, as he sometimes goes by, does a great job of generating that power. Throws heavy, lands heavy, definitely has knockout potential.
Walks in rather calmly. Here's Bolano coming out of Ruston, Louisiana, Triad.
Yeah, teammate of Van Stewart that just took the TKO victory last fight. Going to be walking out here. A little more MMA experience for Pierce Bolano.
That's right. It's 2-1 currently, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, 2-1 in MMA. Doesn't have any kickboxing matches, just a straight-up MMA fighter. Likes to strike. Has a lot of good things going for him. Former Marine. Shout out to our service members. Respect for that service. And, now getting it going forward in the cage here for DFC.
That's right. Showing St. Michael there on the back. So, former Marine, 1 win by TKO, 1 by submission, and a decision loss. What would you say of his style? Is it relatively well balanced like his record shows?
Well-balanced style. I would say his stand-up is probably a little better than his grappling, but on the ground, if he's on top, does well. On the bottom, especially as the fight goes on, has some trouble kind of getting off of his back, which is always a problem in MMA, because if you're on your back, you're probably losing. So that's something I would like to see improve from him is one, kind of cardio management, energy management, and 2, ability to kind of get off the bottom out of those bad spots. Crazy Tony here with his crazy stare.
That's right. Very much showing the camera why he has earned that nickname. That's right.
He'll be in the blue corner tonight. His opponent, Pierce Bolano, in the red. Kind of looks reminiscent of Ilya Topuria.
Just a little bit.
The 155 champion of the UFC.
All right. Chris Hill, our referee, as we start. Again, still at the amateur level, 3 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, expect to see some clean striking from both these guys starting out here. Oh, nasty left hook lands from Tony.
As he went in for the kick, Tony was able to find the shot on the counter. Tony ducking his head a little bit as he comes in. I wonder if that's from some timing he's seeing from his opponent.
He landed another good right cross on that last exchange. So he's caught a couple good ones so far.
Very interesting upper body movement from Tony.
Yeah, it is. Very kind of like twitchy, unorthodox.
Found the leg kick for Bolano. Seems to go leg kick, left hand, leg kick, left hand. Now has
something
a
clinch. He does good, the clinch knees. Tony really likes that, something he does very well. Follows the kick, gets the Bolano with the takedown, catching the kick.
Bolano trying to pressure through. Tony trying to secure the head for posture. Bolano trying to posture up, trying to find a leg through. Got to be careful of the triangle. All right, has pushed that leg through.
But the butterfly here, with him being so heavy on top, he could elevate with those butterfly hooks.
One leg slips through. He gets it back. Both men are very much so on the seesaw.
He could look to take him over the top right here if he extends those legs, really gets him heavy towards his head. But I think he's looking for the armbar instead. I really think that butterfly sweep is there, but he's going to transition to the full guard and the armbar, and it might be there as well.
Pierce Bolano able to slip, but the arm is still behind. He has to be careful.
He's sharp from here. Well, I'm just now seeing this, but he's clearly sharp to me from here. This is a dangerous spot Bolano is in.
Yeah, definitely doesn't seem like Tony's first time here. Even being stacked, he seems to understand which way his body needs to slip out.
Yeah,
still having the arm.
Bolano's in danger here. He needs to be careful with that left arm. He's landing some strikes, but this could get bad for that arm quickly.
And got his head through, a little safer now.
Yeah, but
still will have to find posture.
The fact that knee is pinched so close to the head there, like it's still so close to going back around. Okay, now it's finally that you see that leg. Once the legs are more closer to around the hips, you're not in nearly as much danger of getting submitted as the top person here. The more those knees kind of start pinching up around the neck and the shoulders, that's when things can get bad quickly.
Bolano laying heavy on his opponent with his opponent against the cage. I think trying to gas him out here with 30 seconds left in this round. Tony still trying to find a way to fish a submission. We're seeing from Tony actually has a pretty good guard game.
Yeah, and so he's probably losing this time on the ground here, like we mentioned before, just being on bottom. But from what I'm seeing, he's someone who could probably find a submission off the back here.
Going from an omoplata attempt.
Yeah, it's going to be hard with the cage there. He's not going to really have room, I don't think, to threaten that properly. But, I mean,
Could be a way to get out. Oh, now to the triangle.
And that triangle, if he has more
with
time.
1 second left.
If he has more time in the round, he almost certainly finishes that. So if I'm Bolano, I'm very wary of being inside that guard going into round number 2.
Absolutely.
I do think Crazy Tony probably had the little bit better of the stand-up exchanges, landed a couple more clean strikes to the head, but did spend a lot of time on his back. Not a lot of damage from Bolano on top, though, so that's, again, one of those interesting rounds of what do the judges look for, what are they going to give you more credit for as far as the scoring goes.
Yeah, most of Bolano's strikes were actually while he was being threatened with the arm lock and him raining a hammer fist down, trying to find some sort of counter from that position. So definitely a interesting round. Crazy Tony showing us a little more than we thought he had on the ground game, and transitioning to that triangle at the end. That would have been dangerous had any time been left on the clock.
Yeah, I just haven't seen any of his ground fights, any of his ground game in any of the fights I've seen so far, so I didn't know what he had to offer, but now I do, and it looks very sharp. Even from the bottom, that's so many MMA fighters kind of neglect that part of that game or just have trouble really attacking from there, but he showed that he has the ability to try to put somebody away from that position.
Moving into round 2, we see what adjustments are made. Off the top, Pierce Bolano just going ahead and trying to come in straight.
Yeah,
Lewis finding the counter shots,
nice
but Bolano
right
coming over the top.
Him. Bolano rocked Crazy Tony there with that overhand right.
Yeah, I think Bolano trying to find a little bit of aggression here, trying to change things.
Yeah, he ran across the cage from the very start, looking to put some pressure on his opponent, and it's working out well for him so far.
I think that may have been the thing, though. Lewis seems to, as he gets comfortable, find the distance and find the shots, so maybe that was the adjustment the coaches gave Bolano, is don't let him set up.
Yeah, I think that's a great adjustment. If that's something they talked about, that's something that was very smart for them to do.
So Lewis earlier able to establish dominant clinches and get strikes, but now we're in that modified double under, but the opponent having the wizard.
Nice knee to the body there.
Good shot to the body for Bolano back. Another shot to Bolano from the body.
Yeah, both these guys just exchanging close strikes from the clinch.
I think they may have pushed on the gas tank a little too hard, even for 155ers.
Yeah, but this is still tough. This is still going to wear on that gas tank, and I really like those little Boss Rutan side knees. I'm not sure.
Chris Hill breaking it for the mouthpiece.
I never saw it come out.
Never even seen it come out.
Sharp eye on Chris the Crippler Hill there.
Lewis with a push kick.
I really do like the way that that Bolano is really closing the distance and getting in close there. I think it's helping him so much more.
Watch when Lewis is standing on his own again. He's starting to get a little straight-legged. I think he may be the one showing worse for the wear.
Yeah, especially like if you don't want to be doing this and your opponent's forcing this upon you, it's just going to be draining on the gas tank for sure.
Bolano really leaning on the opponent, trying to find the leg, trying to push through on the knee to get that sit-down sweep. See, Lewis starting to stand up straight. That's when people get knocked out, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I will say, once they separated there, I saw Bolano kind of take a deep breath. I think this is wearing on him a lot as well, and I wonder if we'll see him slow down soon and maybe not get in there so close with that clinch.
All right, again, Bolano trying to find the distance. Lewis really trying to come off the counter. Now has the clinch. Let's see if he can make something out of it as he tries to walk Bolano back to the cage. Again with the knees. Lewis very comfortable in the dominant clinch positions. Bolano trying to find a way under, pushing forward, pushing his opponent into the cage. I think Bolano may want to get him back to the ground, but in a more controlled, dominant position than he was last time.
Yeah, and
Bolano trying to find the outside leg trip. Real nice, actually pretty high level.
Anthony Lewis really finding more success from these clinch positions now. He landed a lot of good knees to the body, and he's the one that's pressing forward into the spot.
Yep, putting his opponent into the cage now. Quick counter out of that for Lewis. And Bolano really just swinging for the fences to make his opponent go as we move into the 10-second mark.
Oh, nice knee to the body from Bolano there. That one had some snap on it. Lands another.
Both men laying it out there for that one.
What an interesting round. So much clinch work, so many close knees, and just short strikes over the top. I do think both these guys are really going to be feeling it after that one. So much out of the gas tank, which that's something that's common in so many of Bolano's fights. He pushes so hard. I do wonder if he's going to be able to keep up that pace in this third round. And this is a spot where I don't know that he'll do it, but I think if Anthony Lewis looked for the takedown and got on top in this round, I think this is a spot where Bolano might get stuck there and Lewis could kind of have a little more free reign to find success on top.
Pierce Bolano Old Devil Dog. The one thing he's going to be taught is shock and awe. I think he tried to bring it at the opening of that second round. We'll see how it pans out into the third, see if he's able to recover. Lewis actually standing in between the rounds, usually an indication of recovery strategy.
As we get ready to go into our third and final round here, this is also our final amateur matchup of the night. We're going to be going to the pro portion of the card for our co-main and main event. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The next fight, we have one more amateur fight, and they're both good enough that they maybe should be pro anyway, so excuse me on that.
Both men trying to find the distance on push kicks. Lewis trying to find a head kick. Both standing up relatively heavy. Lewis trying to find those overhand right.
We're back in the clinch, back in the knees. Separate quickly this time.
Both gentlemen not interested in this one going to the bell.
Very loopy punches. I think the loopy punches for Tony here are an indication of the fatigue because he normally is a little more of a straight shooter than that, but this fight has been grueling for both these gentlemen.
Absolutely. Now we're in that 50-50 position. Bolano and again Lewis with the double tie clinch. Breaking it off into punches.
Good job covering up there from Bolano, but some of those did slip through and catch pretty clean.
The damage from Lewis comes at the strangest of angles, it seems sometimes.
Yeah, and I think it has to do just with also with the strategy of Bolano, the way they're just in these weird clinch positions you don't see a lot of. Nice left hook.
Lewis again finding the way out of the clinch into a positive position.
Both
Very savvy.
Just leaning on each other so much. It's crazy. You know, you just don't see so much of this almost ever.
Yeah, neither man real worried about the damage he'll take as much as he's worried about the damage he can do from here.
Right.
Bolano getting heavy with the hands as Lewis gets into the knee exchange.
Yeah, Bolano clearly tired. They kind of sat back and took a deep breath there, which we know both of them are. There's only so much the human body can do. But, man, you got to think about all the muscle engagement that's happening the whole time they're clinched up in that position. So not only are they striking, throwing punches, being active, but they're constantly just tensed up with that clinch. So much energy being used.
Yeah, your shoulders and back. Something we don't talk about enough. As you lean into opponent, as he searches for the opposite side ankle pick. Interesting. Bolano still staring at the ankle as he's starting to show some blood from a cut that Lewis provided him probably in that clinch earlier.
Yeah, and Lewis finding his spots more and more, really kind of landing cleaner and cleaner as this round goes. I think he's landed the cleaner shots throughout this round for the most part.
Yeah, Lewis definitely seems to have found the distance and found the rhythm on Bolano as Bolano has slowly started to slow down here in the third.
Yeah, and this is something I've seen before with Bolano too, which no one can blame him for this fight. I mean, it's just such a dog fight, but you know, he does have some problems with that gas tank a little bit. Just willing to put it all out there.
Bolano taking a deep breath as Lewis steps back. Lewis trying to look for a flying push kick, again pushing his opponent into the thing. Maybe trying to secure a takedown as that would probably solidify the round for him.
Only 10
as we move into the 10 seconds. Tried to go for the high single and gets the takedown, probably finalizing himself on the scorecard for the third and final round.
Yeah, it's surely a third round for Crazy Tony here. What a close fight. It's going to be interesting to see how this is scored because I want to say Bolano had a successful second round, successful third round, from my opinion, for Crazy Tony. Anthony Lewis here. First round, very close.
Very close on the first round. Would be very difficult to score. I do not envy the judges again here tonight.
Yeah, got their work cut out for them. And it's funny because so many of our DFC fights end and finish. The judges usually don't have to work very hard here. But tonight, a couple decisions and a couple, I would say, close ones, really earning their keep tonight.
Absolutely. Hugs and respect all around here. And as we move here to the judges' decisions, we have one more amateur fight. We will break for one more intermission as we move into then the co-main event pro MMA fights.
And you don't want to miss this next amateur fight coming up. It's going to be essentially our amateur portion main event. It's going to be against two veterans of the sport, Mr. Luke Clement and Chance Sims, both DFC veterans as well. We'll get to that here shortly as we get to the decision here for Pierce Bolano and Anthony Lewis. What a war this was. Unanimous decision. out of the blue corner, Anthony Crazy Tony Lewis getting the win here tonight at DFC.
Showed a lot of heart, kind of weathered a few storms from Bolano, who definitely always brings the forward pressure. Great fights.
Yeah, and I want to say the gas tank may have failed Bolano a little bit because he just wasn't able to do as much in that third round, even though they were in those exhausting exchanges. Tony was just able to be more active, land more, get that takedown, and secure that third round, which gave him the victory. Hard fought, hard earned. His guard looked early on in that first round. But, yeah, it was immediately clear to me. I was immediately impressed by his ability to kind of get those legs high, pinch those knees. So important, pinching those knees near the shoulders, near the neck. Allows you to kind of pivot yourself, get up on your shoulder blades, get your lower back off the mat, and attack quickly. And he showed a good ability to do that, even though he didn't quite find the finish from there.
You almost wonder if that also kind of changed Bolano's overall game plan because you didn't really see him going back for that so much, or maybe Lewis just adjusted for the takedowns accordingly. But it did kind of seem to change the way the second round opened for Bolano.
Yeah, if I'm in Bolano's corner after that first round, I'm telling him don't go back into his guard. Don't follow him into the ground. Like, it's too dangerous. If you can't immediately clear the legs, let's not go to the ground.
Which may explain why Bolano came out so heavy on the second, looking to just put it away.
We're going to move right along into our last amateur fight of the night. As I said before, Luke Clement, 3-1 DFC veteran, against Chance Sims, 4-4. Hasn't fought MMA for DFC before. Has done a grappling match on our last show where he had a quick, nice armbar against Christopher Anthony. Going to be a great matchup between these two.
Absolutely.
Chance Sims walking out first.
I believe Chance Sims did not make weight. Is that correct?
Yeah, he came in a bit over, so technically got moved to a 160 catch weight, but the fight was scheduled for 155. Chance Sims, I don't know, had a bad weight cut, something, didn't make the weight, so we're doing a 160 catch weight, but missed weight for 155. And if the H's are accurate here, which I believe it is for Luke Clement, I didn't realize Chance Sims, 47, that's a bit old to be competing this. I mean, more power to him. At 30 years old, I'm not competing anymore. I feel kind of old for the sport, but 47, I can't imagine getting in there.
I think he just pulled you out of retirement.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't imagine doing this in 17 years.
So Chance Sims fighting out of Fight School MMA, Livingston, Louisiana. Fight did get moved to 160. Has shown us grappling from DFC 8.
And big cheers for Luke Clement walking out here, going to be in the red corner tonight.
That's right. Luke Clement, a DFC veteran, 3-1, all of the fights with DFC as he is so local and takes the local fights. Has actually done TKOs, won in decision. Very durable, heavy-handed fighter.
And he's shown so much improvement throughout each of his performances, too. Really a student of the game, really a thinker, like really puts his mind to work and tries to find those win conditions that I talk so much about and seeing like what he needs to do to get the victory, not just I'm going to go be tough, I'm going to go hit hard. You know, I need to move my feet more, I need to find my angles and be a skillful, tactical fighter. That's who Luke Clement is.
That's right. You can be one-dimensional at first, but as you move on, you have to add layers to your game. Yeah,
especially the level of the game these days. You know, there's so many guys that are just so good and so tough. You've seen it tonight. You know, these debut fighters looking like seasoned veterans. And so, yeah, it's really important to be ahead of the curve, really study, work hard, put in the work. And that's what Luke Clement does. And it'll be fun to see him perform tonight. And he has a tough task across from him in the veteran Chance Sims.
That's right, 4-4. That does mean 8 fights.
Yeah, and we couldn't find much film on him. Only found one fight. And, I mean, even just like the age, too. He's been around the block. He's been around for a long time, been training for a long time. Like, he's going to be I would say a disciplined fighter. Mr. Chance Sims here in the blue corner. Another one out of Fight School MMA from Livingston, Louisiana. Friends from down south.
Bows to the crowd.
We'll have to note that Luke Clement's nose is already looking red here. I'm not sure if he got punched in the back, but we'll have to make note that that is already a bit red.
The crowd very loud for Luke tonight.
Yeah, a lot of fans here, local and just the DFC veterans. A lot of these people have seen him fight before, know what he brings to the table. Let's get it started. Our last amateur fight of the night before we get to the pro portion of the card.
That's right. Amateurs with a lot of experience, though, as we move into this final fight.
Interesting, coming out southpaw, Chance Sims, you would imagine, and switching stances from Luke Clement. I do think he's more of an orthodox fighter, but we'll do some stance switching. But, southpaws, I would say, always have a bit of an advantage just because you don't see people. And southpaw is fighting now the right foot lead leg. They typically, most people stand left foot forward, so they have more experience fighting someone who's an orthodox fighter, as is Luke Clement, versus southpaw fighters. It's less common. A little bit of a switch there to kind of set up that spin attack.
Luke actually capitalized on that switch with the leg kick, but he did take a small shot. Luke trying to find his opponent. Sims giving him a lot of looks here inside the first minute.
Really unorthodox movement from Sims.
Something we've seen before with him. A lot of unorthodox movements. Hands very low, somewhere between a karate stance and a Philly shell, which is interesting to see in MMA.
Yeah, this is something where Luke could look to follow feints up with leg kicks, or as he gets him leaning with a couple punches, start teeing off to the body, because he's mostly just leaning the head to avoid the punches, as Luke lands a nice little stiff jab there. But as he moves that head to avoid the punches, the body's still left behind, so throw a couple to the head, follow to the body would be a good strategy for Luke Clement.
Luke staying just out of reach. I think he's trying to see what exactly Sims is going to give him as a look.
Yeah, I think he's having trouble getting a read on it. That's why he's not throwing too much, trying to see, what he needs to do to get there.
Catching that kick, pushing his opponent
follow
in the
that
cage. Was going to be a guillotine attempt, but Luke kept it level, so Sims let it go.
Yeah, and I'm surprised, which he's having some success, but I'm surprised to see Sims standing up so much right now. But, maybe if he doesn't have success at some point, he tries to take it to the ground. But in my mind, he's more of a grappler. But finding some success on the feet so far. Hasn't been hit too much to
got the
really
second leg caught again.
Yeah.
Luke, so on that, Sims kind of shoulder rolled purposely to the ground. Luke found a way in with a punch, but now inside of Sims' guard. We'll have to probably be careful. We have seen him do very well off of his back.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is, in MMA, he's typically losing if you're on your back. So, if Luke can kind of keep this position and look to posture, land some punches, that would be good as far as scoring goes. And something to note, too, is I've seen Chance Sims pull guard before in MMA fights, so it doesn't surprise me at all that, when that leg was caught, he was kind of willing to roll to the ground. This is somewhere he feels pretty comfortable to find those submissions from.
Luke slowly trying to find posture. Sims getting in the small punches. Something you typically see from the back whenever you're trying to make your opponent move. 10 seconds left.
Yeah, Luke not really landing any ground and pound at all, just kind of getting his posture controlled. So I don't rate, score that takedown very heavily. It's just a change of position, not any damage off of it. So in my mind, it's still close, but I think maybe a Chance Sims first round. I'm not sure, but he was a little more active on the stand-up, I would say. Very kind of close, awkward, not a ton of strikes thrown. Luke did land a couple nice jabs, knocked his head back a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of gauging. So it'll definitely depend on how the judges see the leg moving into the takedown and the follow through there. But not a lot of damage really come through at it at all. So very much so, first round, not a lot of action. I think both fighters trying to gauge each other.
But as I mentioned before, Luke, a very, technical and analytical fighter. Maybe he's doing a little bit of downloading, kind of like Novak Djokovic losing the first set of tennis. May not mean a whole lot, just kind of learning his opponent and how he's going to beat him the next three sets. So we'll have to see here if Luke can make some adjustments, talk to his corner, and see what he's going to come out and do to change things in the second round.
The doctor did look at the leg of Luke. I think there's a small egg on there, but Luke saying he's fine, moving on into round two.
And to round two we go. Let's see if there's any adjustments being made.
Sims is still, again, out of that modified shell stance. The thing with the Philly, it's more popular in boxing, but it's that rolling shoulder punch. Kind of comes in from an interesting angle. Sims actually squared up that time.
Yeah, he's really swinging for the fences there. Very awkward. Luke not quite landed any of the counters he's looking for. Sims tries to jump the guillotine. Luke, I wish he wouldn't fall into the guard because he couldn't find the offense here. He does have more time in this round to work from here, but I wish he would have. He had the ability to look to go around the guard, or at least a half guard, which is a lot better in my opinion than being in the full guard in MMA especially. Yeah, he definitely needs the posture here. Try to stand, open the guard. I do think Sims is going to be willing to hold on to this for a while, look for submissions.
Luke slowly finding his way to the shoulders and getting himself back up. Sims immediately going back to the wrap. Very heavy wrap with the overhand, trying to break the posture. Usually means arm bars.
Little can opener here.
Luke getting a little bit of a can opener.
I will say, if Luke can find any ability to really land any amount of ground and pound here, there's a good chance he'll end up winning the round. Just the fact that he's on top, if he can hit him some, he should win this round. Yeah, just like this.
Just like that, finding the one or two, really scoring the damage.
Because I don't see Sims, really working to get off his back here. I think he's going to be willing to play the guard, and I think if Luke is able to stay safe and just throw punches when he can, I think he should win this round.
Luke finally seeming to take a page out of Grant's book with the long frame under the chin.
Yeah, we saw it earlier tonight with his teammate Grant Scurria. Absolutely right. Good way to really post on him and make some space.
That's right, and because the angle's so long, you usually don't have to worry about too much of the arm bar unless the guy is incredibly athletic.
Finding little spots for the ground and pound. Sims trying to get his legs higher, but he's so square, it's going to be hard to find the angle from here.
That's right.
Trying to angle now. Luke rips the arm out. And
immediately ripping the arm out, putting one of the knees to the ground.
Here,
they'll have to be careful of the omoplata or their arm drag.
Yeah, staying postured here, getting heavy. Really just getting heavy on his opponent's legs here will be smart for him.
Still finding his way to the top. Might have to be careful of up kick.
Yeah, and just very willing to go back in the guard, which he hasn't really been threatened seriously from here so far. He's just not able to really find as much offense as I would like to see as off the top person. I'd like to see more punches, more threats. He finds little moments, just is probably winning, just, no real ability to threaten a finish.
Chance showing a little bit of an unorthodox Americana throw.
And even though Sims is throwing little pot shots off the bottom, they're so weak. Like, I don't rate them very high. I don't think the judge is going to rate them very high as far as, you're just kind of touching them. You're not really doing that much. Only so much power you can generate with someone that close to you.
Luke
off
your back. Finally started trying to change the angle and landed a few shots from the bottom.
And that's going to put a stamp on the round for Luke Clement. I think we're likely 1-1 going into the third here. And I do think, if Luke can get him to the ground, we've seen so far Sims willing to go to his back. Like he put himself on the back there, on his own back. Luke, he hasn't shown the ability to submit Luke off his back. I think that's a win condition for Luke going into the third round.
Absolutely. Maybe if this time he can go to the ground and not be cleanly in the guard. Sims does have a decent guard retention with the posture manipulation and things like that. So if Luke can find a way to go into the guard and not immediately give up posture or not immediately give up a clean guard, he may be able to score more and make Sims more uncomfortable in those positions.
Yeah, and I always like to see finishes. So I think it's going to be hard to finish Chance Sims from inside of his guard. I think it's going to be hard for Chance Sims to finish Luke Clement with Luke inside of his guard. So I'd really like to see, if we get kind of back to that spot, I'd like to see, maybe Clement try to pass the guard a little bit and create a little more opportunity for finishes to happen. Third and final round, our last amateur fight of the night before we go to the pros.
The crowd getting pumped up. Last amateur fight of the night, third and final round. Sims still with the interesting Philly shell.
Yeah, super unorthodox. Catches the kick. I'll probably seeing the takedown here.
Pushing
Sims,
on the leg. Oh, went for the punch.
That punch hurt him. Sims is very hurt.
Showing the power.
This is probably going to get stopped in just a moment. It could be stopped at any moment. I don't see him. He's not recovering. Yeah, that's going to be it. Luke Clement finding that early third round TKO, and the crowd is on their feet for this man. What a performance.
Luke Clement showing he has the power if there is only an opening and an opportunity. A moment of hesitation from Sims. Clement finds it and lands it. Watch him. Boom.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
Wow. Yeah, he was done already. This is just a formality at this point. Made no adjustments. Just took, some of them landed on the arms, but made no adjustments to get out of this bad position. They were not going to stop. Referee steps in. Luke Clement 4-1. in his amateur MMA career.
So this means, though, that was several leg catches coming in, and there were several times that he caught those legs. That's what set a lot of times Sims to go down.
Right.
This time he kind of kept Sims up and walked him to the cage, which made it a little different. In the moment Sims' hands touched the cage, he saw the opportunity, took it, night-night.
Yeah, such a smart adaptation he made mid-fight.
Well, and you yourself called it a technical and tactical fighter from Luke Clement, and showing a little bit of download, a little bit of smartness goes a long way.
And your winner by TKO, Luke Clement, putting a stamp on that performance.
Going the distance, showing good energy management, even though he was constantly in a grapple position. A lot of times you come out of them grapple positions, you'll see a lot of energy get wasted there. So instead, though, we saw the third and final round, Luke finding the way to just finish it.
Just had to find the right shot, did Luke Clement. He's about to eat and drink, says Luke Clement.
Luke definitely ready for a meal.
And that is it for our amateur portion of the card. We still have 2 pro matchups to go in our co-main and main events. Quick shout out to our sponsors here. We are going to go on a 10-minute intermission before we get to the pro fights on our card. Go make yourself a nice drink and little Diet Coke for the main portion of the card. Have a good time. We'll see you soon.
Maybe a Diet Coke and whiskey chase here at DFC 9, West Monroe Sports Center and Event Center, DFC 9. 2 pro fights left, co-main events. Let's get to it. See you in 10. The line was pretty long last time in the bathroom.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the arena, Tommy Briton.
All right, here we move into the co-main event at 185, our pro MMA fights. This will be 5-minute rounds will be the major change here. Walking out now should have Tommy Briton coming for the blue corner. Out of Team Final Cut Shreveport, Louisiana. Very tall, 185-pound. Did miss weight by a few pounds coming out. But Tommy Brickhands Briton, 6-14, has had a very storied career, very super durable, always seems to fight his way back out of tough positions. We'll say he also has a great clinch. So as we move in, Tommy Brickhands Briton, 6-14. Very durable fighter. We'll also say that has an interesting way of pressing against the cage, finding angles against his opponent due to his height, right?
Yeah, and like especially even sometimes he gets pressed against the cage, and when they're trying to take him down, he has a great ability to find elbows to the side of the head, dropping his opponent. So many wins from that. We'll see, if Josh Lee gets him to that position. That's something I think Josh Lee needs to look out for, is because he's more of a. Typically, you see Josh Lee looking to take his opponents down at some point with using the cage, pushing him into it. If he shoots for the legs there, Tommy Briton is so good at using those elbows to the side of the head to drop and finish his opponents.
The crowd going quiet for Josh Lee as he comes out.
Yeah, and they're going to explode in just a moment when they see him. He always has so many fans here. That's Josh Lee's head you see on the back of those cards there. A lot of Josh Lee fans here lined up for him.
Has announced this as his retirement fight right here at DFC 9. The crowd very loud for him.
Yeah, his classic Country Boy Can Survive, Hank Williams Jr. walkout song.
A lot of support. Head coach at Triad in Ruston, Louisiana.
Yeah, what a program he's built there in such a short amount of time. Just incredible talent coming out of that place.
That's right, using his own storied career to back up and create great fighters that we've seen here tonight, leaving a long and lasting legacy in North Louisiana. The crowd still roaring and cheering for Josh Lee.
I'm really interested to see how this fight plays out. I don't know what Josh Lee's game plan will be for this. Tommy Briton, he's more of a striker. I would say Josh Lee has such a big advantage on the ground. Jiu-jitsu black belt, judo black belt. But Tommy Briton, that's not somewhere he wants to be. I don't think he has much of a ground game, and I think if he gets on his back, he's going to be kind of stuck there. I think he needs to keep that distance, keep that space, and use his striking to put a hurting on Josh Lee.
So before we start this fight, I will say Josh usually uses a very interesting set of boxing to set up takedowns, kind of unique in his own way. I'll see how he works that with Tommy Briton, who is the longer fighter.
Yeah. One thing about Briton as well is he's not super active on the stand-up, even though it's like where he thrives. He's just not super active. He doesn't throw a lot of punches. Expect to see him kind of slow to start. But when he does throw, if he lands, they are heavy shots. Very awkward with his right hand. Left hand's pretty straight. Right hand, he almost always just kind of chops down, almost like a hammer fist, even from a long cross position. Very unorthodox, but when it lands, it hurts.
Shreveport, Louisiana, only an hour and a half down the road. Great local fight here for our pro MMA kickoff tonight, co-main event. Again, the crowd erupting for Josh Lee.
And Josh Lee in some of the best shape, maybe the best shape I've ever seen him in. Just really started a new, cardio conditioning program. I think you can attest to that, Brock. Working with
Absolutely.
DFC vet Dylan Fraley.
Yeah, I myself have been taking part of that. He's definitely stepped up the distance in his running. I definitely expect to see a little bit different of a pace from Josh Lee than normal.
Yeah, ultra marathon running in his back pocket. Don't expect him to get tired in here. And also just so skilled, so that's something that's going to help him keep that energy as well. He's not going to be overreacting things. He's going to be, using good technique and really
Briton immediately riding the bike, letting Josh Lee take the center. Very wide-handed.
I expect a little bit of a slow start here, a little bit of filling out, but once we get going, it's going to be fireworks.
Again, just like the angle you said, Briton kind of comes to the sideways.
Oh, and there's already more kicks than I've ever seen out of Briton. Those low leg kicks kind of knocked Josh Lee off his feet. Briton on top. And even though Josh Lee is the jiu-jitsu black belt, big advantage on the ground, it can be hard to set up attacks from the full guard in MMA.
That's right, trying to get a frame off. Briton being very heavy on the hip. Josh Lee, though, does have a guillotine set. We'll see if it comes in handy here, but first needing to find a way to work with Briton, who's trying to lay heavy on the hip.
Yeah, good punches from Josh Lee off the bottom. He's really kind of teeing off on Briton from the bottom. And as you mentioned, Josh Lee's guillotine, I would say his signature move. First thing he ever submitted me with. Josh and I have trained over the years, and that is, he has a ton of MMA finishes with it. That is his main move.
Briton kind of adopting the lay and pray, maybe trying to cook Josh a little bit.
Yeah, he's just taking a lot of free shots, though. This isn't good for Briton. He's kind of getting beat up from the bottom here. This is something like, even though I mentioned earlier the shots don't do a lot, one, they're setting up this armbar for Josh Lee, but two, they do something.
Briton trying to find overhand hammer fist.
Josh getting to that single leg X and into that
Josh
backside
going for a heel
now.
hook.
Briton's feeling it too. You see the grimace on his face, trying to roll through it. He
There
gets
it
the tap.
is.
First
A
round,
heel hook from Josh Lee.
Wow. First round early, minute and a half, heel hook submission from Josh Lee. Crowd on their feet. Crowdness at the cage here. Might need to get security to back them up a little bit before they storm the cage.
Absolutely. The crowd erupted.
Having a good time here, supporting their hometown hero, Josh Lee.
So Josh basically slipping into position as Briton stood up, went to the leg lasso, isolated, and found the outside heel hook, rolled once, twice into the final position before Briton finally settled into the tap.
Yeah, that I wouldn't be surprised if that knee popped a few times.
Yeah, Briton actually moving it back and forth right now as we speak.
Yeah, that's going to be some time off training for a little bit. That was bad. A lot of torque on that knee.
What a lot of torque, yeah, as he moved over. The crowd still.
And just look at the shape of Josh Lee. Like, he got it done in a minute and a half. He could have gone all 15 minutes and not slowed down.
What a great finish to a career.
Take in that crowd noise. So much Josh Lee love here in the building.
All right.
And we're still blacked out. Yeah,
Josh Lee at a loss of words as emotion overcomes him.
So much support. One more time. Josh Lee, this really feels like the last one for me. You know, Josh has, I think, had maybe a couple couple of retirement fights in the past. This one really feels like it's the last one.
Well, and he mentioned there, don't know if it came through as it was at the very beginning, he had lost his last fight by heel hook, and he said it felt a little bit like sweet retribution actually getting one himself this time in.
Also shouting out his team, saying they're going to be, carrying the torch for him. He's going to be taking, he's already the head coach, but really going to be embracing that role fully, no longer competing, just building those guys up. And, I mean, we've seen tonight just what a team he has, Van Stewart, Pierce Bolano, many more. And we was on all the DFC cards, those Try guys, they are talented, they fight hard, and just it's a pleasure to have them as part of the DFC fight team. Absolutely.
Again, the crowd still cheering on Josh Lee in his closeout.
And as we referenced that, and as Josh Lee referenced, that heel hook finish that he lost in his last fight was for the DFC belt title fight against Chris Crosby, who will be in our main event tonight.
Absolutely. As we move into the 195 catch weight for the title fight tonight. Chris Crosby, a veteran Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, kind of a leg lock specialist, as we'll mention here in a minute. But go ahead and take a moment watching Josh Lee hug and love on the crowd on his way out.
Yeah, there's so many people here. You can see all those people. There's 100 more behind them just supporting this man. He's been around the local MMA community so long, done so much for the sport. One of the early, kind of forefathers of MMA in Louisiana.
That's right. Small, bittersweet moment.
And it's crazy that he is still fighting here in 2025. I remember 2009, maybe before he was fighting, when I was a little kid watching Josh Lee fights.
There you go. All right. One more fight tonight.
Yeah, and interesting note, even though Crosby is the 185 champion, his opponent, Jordan Fowler, something along the lines of maybe got sick last weekend. His coaches didn't want him to cut. So the fact that the fight is taking place at 195, even though Crosby is the champion, this will not be a title fight tonight. It will be 3 5-minute rounds. Title not on the line. So just interesting note on that matchup.
Okay.
And thank you all so much for joining us on YouTube tonight. We're happy to be on this free service for everyone to enjoy. No paywall. Happy to have all you with us.
Absolutely. I think this was a great move we made this time. So happy with y'all to join us. Of course, as we go through the next few days, we'll hit up the highlight reels and things like that. I just want to say thank y'all once again here at DFC 9 in West Monroe as we move into the main event. Chris Crosby versus Jordan Fowler. Jordan Fowler, first man out, fighting out of Northeast Arkansas.
Yeah.
Out of the Warrior Gym.
Yeah, Bono, Arkansas, Warrior Gym, Jordan Fowler, savvy vet in himself. Both these guys, so many pro MMA fights, been at it a long time. Jordan Fowler, not much of a offensive grappler, very good defensive grappling, and hits hard, very unorthodox striking. Doesn't react well to punches, crazy overreactions to punches, but his opponent, Chris Crosby, being a strict jiu-jitsu specialist, I don't expect him to have those punches to make Fowler react. So that's what makes this fight so interesting to me. The fact that Crosby, in my opinion, not much of a stand-up threat, has only one TKO finish. Every other fight, first round finish by submission. I expect Jordan Fowler to have a big advantage in the stand-up, Crosby to have a big advantage in the offensive grappling.
And just to harken back again to that Josh Lee fight, a loss by him, he actually was doing very well against Crosby on the feet. And as he took Crosby down, Crosby was able to transition into that leg lock. So expect a lot of high-level transitions if it does go to the ground for Crosby. He definitely seems to find ways in the takedown to put himself in an advantageous position. So, again, the more Fowler presses, and with Fowler's unorthodox style, we could have some very interesting mismatches and even moments of transition. So make sure you keep an eye out inside of those movements.
Yeah, and something about Crosby is he doesn't even need to get the takedown to get to the ground. He's someone who's willing to pull guard and just literally pull his opponent on top of himself, but he's so good off his back at isolating that leg, getting that leg lock right. We just saw Josh Lee do those heel hooks and breaking his opponent's leg. So, it's such a unique, interesting dilemma he puts his opponents in. He doesn't even need to put them on their back to finish them. It's like you can be on top of me in a quote-unquote good position, and he'll still find the finish.
Absolutely. Chris Crosby, again, all wins by first round submission except one TKO.
Yep.
14-9, meaning 13 leg locks.
Yeah, being a little low-key tonight, choosing not to walk out with the belt that he has. He is the 185 champion. Again, this is not a title fight. Only going to be 3 5-minute rounds, not 5, because Jordan Fowler, his team, his coaches weren't comfortable with him cutting the weight. So not a title fight, 195 fight. But Chris Crosby is the Delta middleweight 185 champion.
Chris looking relatively relaxed. Made weight relatively easy as well with that adjustment. So probably had plenty of time to hydrate.
Yeah, and he always looks relaxed. He's always so comfortable. He knows his win condition. He knows what he needs to do in there. And as I mentioned before, he has 14 wins. Every one of them has been a first-round finish, 13 by submission. I believe nearly almost all heel hook leg lock finishes, 1 by TKO. He knows what he needs to do to find the finish.
So don't blink, ladies and gentlemen.
In the blue corner here, Mr. Jordan Fowler out of Bono, Arkansas. And Jordan Fowler has the fastest professional knockout in Arkansas State history at 7 seconds with a head kick knockout.
Absolutely. And yeah, just like Josh Lee, the head coach and competitor of Triad Martial Arts, Chris Crosby, the head coach and competitor of Fight School MMA in Livingston, Louisiana. Absolutely.
Yeah,
all right, action begins.
I expect this to be a quick one. And one thing to note about Crosby, with all his first round finishes, every fight that has gone past the first round, he has not won. So he's kind of a, kill or be killed in the first round.
Finding a little bit of distance. Fowler a little flat-footed for me.
Yeah, I wonder if he just doesn't respect the offensive striking of Crosby. But Crosby able, off of Jordan Fowler's distance closing, able to kind of wrap him up, get him, I would say, more in a Crosby-favored position.
Finding a guillotine. Hands are crossed. Yeah. I can see it from this angle. Fowler trying to find the takedown, trying to find a way to relieve the pressure.
Yeah, I think if Crosby had the room, he would put himself to his back right now to go for this choke.
Absolutely. Fowler trying to find the distance.
As you see,
trying to loop over, kind of the classic escape.
But Fowler is very good in these scramble positions. Like, I haven't seen much offensive grappling from him, but he's so good at defensive grappling. In the triangle now,
for
not locked yet, but now it is. This could be it. Lands a big punch, but this triangle's deep.
Triangle is deep. Fowler trying to keep the distance. Is on his feet. You can relieve some pressure there, trying to find the knee.
That's an interesting
but now
defense.
Crosby, there's the tap.
Crosby, as soon as he caught that leg, no more ability to generate power off those punches. Crosby doing exactly what he needed to do, getting it done. First round submission, per usual.
At a triangle finish for Mr. Chris Crosby here tonight. Smooth, technical, found a way. Absolutely beautiful. Again, just like I said before, finds a way to take his opponent's offense and transition into a favorable position for offense. Chris Crosby has a very high-level technical ability when it comes to inside of the offense, finding a way to transition into it.
Yeah, just perfect execution. And as I mentioned, as soon as he had room getting his back off the cage, he was like Fowler was looking for the takedown, but Crosby wanted to go to the ground anyway. He had such a good wrap on the neck. I thought he was going for the guillotine. He used the butterfly hooks to sweep him over the top. Lost the position, but transitioned to the triangle. Beautiful transitions, as you would expect from the accomplished black belt, Chris Crosby. And you see his belt here. Yeah, we'll count this as an unofficial title defense for Chris Crosby here.
All right. Even giving a nod to Josh Lee, a former opponent of his. Chris Crosby, unofficial title defense due to the catch weight. Again, a great closeout for DFC 9 here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining us as we take the final pictures and do the final closeout. If you take a few words from our sponsor.
DFC number 9 going double digits next time.